replacement window or entry door project and get 0% APR for 60 months.
Test.
A great deal from my family to yours. Window World, backed by Inside Outside Guys. Call 1-800-NEXT-WINDOW to get started or visit windowworlddetroit.com.
Match the welcome to Spotlight on the MEDC. Joining us today
The
from
state of the
Match
state.
the Station is Michelle Wildman.
Good morning, everyone. We're already
at the
live.
MEDC.
Can you hear the station as loudly as I can?
Yes, I can. It's very loud.
To continue to promote Michigan as a home for pure opportunity.
And how do strong communities impact tourism
Better.
There we go. Better,
Michigan that has this giant tourism footprint?
We have so many beautiful destinations within the state, and really investing in strong, vibrant, and resilient communities is a key component in attracting talent to live and work here in Michigan.
Talk about what you want us to do right now to support these small businesses and the restaurants.
The public health crisis has impacted small businesses and communities across the state, leading to economic hardship. And so what we're encouraging people to do is to go into those unique shops or do the gift card from a restaurant so that when we can all safely return to dine in, we can have those shared experiences and also be giving back to our local restaurants in the process. Nearly 1 million employees at more than 100,000 stores get a boost when we choose to shop local.
Tell our listeners where they can go if they want to get started and do some local shopping.
Visit michigan.org/support local.
Michelle Wildman, it was nice to talk to you today.
Thank you.
This is a special post-State of the State Address edition of Paul W. Smith on News Talk 760 WJR. This morning, Paul is sponsored by UHY Certified Public Accountants and Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan. Now with conversation and analysis of last night's address by Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Here's Paul.
Boy, that sounds very serious, doesn't it? We've got a lot of analysis here, don't we, team?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. We are raring and ready to go.
Oh, lots of analysis. On this Thursday, January 28th, the 28th day of 2021, with 337 days left in the year. Make each and every day count. Each day is a gift. And with that conversation and analysis, we have Marie Osborne, who takes off her news hat after presenting the news the way it was meant to be presented. Thank you, Marie. And we
Good morning.
Get into opinion and thoughts and feelings here, along with Dana Clark, who will be keeping an eye on traffic and weather. And again, it should be a pretty good day, Dana.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Yeah.
I believe so.
Brian Morton is in the booth, as we call it, in the business. He's the only guy in the Fisher Building. The rest of us are at our home studios, where we've gotten pretty comfortable. And I have a feeling that life has changed for a lot of businesses, and not just ours, yours too, where you're going to be spending more time than ever doing a lot of work at home. That's my gut feeling. Kim is helping out as always, and our executive producer overseeing all of this. And all day today, all morning, will be online as well as at 760 on the AM dial, meaning you can peek in and take a look at us while we're doing the show at WJR.com or the WJR Facebook account, if you will, to be a part of what we're doing here. And we'd love to have you. Again, thanks to the extra sponsors. And of course, the one calling out to me now is our executive producer, Ann Thomas.
This is very important, Paul.
Yes, Ann.
Happy Friday Eve.
You know what? Never more important than it is today.
Yes.
We have gotten to calling Thursdays Friday Eve, and Ann will not let us forget about it. And I think that's a very good thing. It is Friday Eve. All right. I'll ask each of you what you thought of the governor's speech last night. I'll start with Marie, watching it from a news person's standpoint.
I thought that she tried to project a very positive image in terms of what's been accomplished within state government in the last year. And we all know behind the scenes, it's been a very tumultuous year for state politics. In fact, yesterday, right before the speech, the State of the State speech, the legislature told the governor, sent a message to the governor saying that they were going to tie money for schools to her executive powers. You have to give some of those up or we're not going to pass this bill. So, there's still a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that's very, very difficult. So it's interesting that I thought she presented a very positive picture on what's happening in the state.
I think she did too, and that is, by the way, a very important part of a State of the State address. There will be those saying, yeah, but boy, she sounded like she was giving a lot of money away. Where's that come from? That comes in the next presentation, her budget presentation. So I think she did last night what she was pretty much supposed to do, which is give us a positive outlook on the state. It would surprise me if any governor would not use the State of the State address to try to put a polish on how things are and for us to look forward to making them better. But we've got more thoughts and conversations here now, 5:43 at WJR.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
It's a new year, but for kids in poverty around the world, things are still desperate. Join Compassion with your one-time $40 gift to provide a COVID relief kit to a family in poverty. Text the word GIVE to 83393. That's GIVE to 83393.
And we're checking it at 5:43, our WJR Traffic and Weather First, and Dana Clark.
Traffic First, sponsored by the Cremation Society of Michigan. For over 33 years, the Cremation Society of Michigan has been providing dignified cremation services without the cost of traditional funerals. For cremation information, contact the Cremation Society of Michigan at 1-800-241-3131 or visit cremationmichigan.com. Nice quiet start out there, accident free, no delays at the moment. Taking a look at that construction in Royal Oak along 12 Mile westbound at Stevenson Highway. That right lane is closed through February 8th. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Gordon Chevrolet. Gordon Chevrolet will ahead your lease and take advantage of zero interest for up to 84 months or sign and drive lease programs, end of the month deals. Open special hours is Saturday 9 to 3. Gordon Chevrolet, Ford Road, just west of Merriman and Garden City. GordonChevrolet.com. Find new roads.
Cold run and a dry run here. Maybe a little snow by the end of the weekend. Sunshine dominating this morning with a few clouds. A pretty cold start, a chilly finish at 25 for a high. Down near 12 above tonight. Single-digit suburbs. Tomorrow sunny and cold near 30. Should be dry on Saturday with a chance of some snow Sunday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, News Talk 760 WJR.
And 19 degrees at 5:45 on News Talk 760 WJR. It's in that vicinity. 18, 19, 20, 21, but we'll call it 19 just to have one number to use, and we'll call it time to check in with Rush Limbaugh.
You probably recognize the name Janice Dean. She is the senior meteorologist for Fox News. Now, unfortunately, she's getting news coverage herself, and for a tragic reason. Ms. Dean recently lost two family members to the coronavirus. Both her mother-in-law and her father-in-law were among the staggering number of New York State nursing home casualties, at least 6,600 deaths. Janice Dean is now adding her voice to those demanding a full, independent investigation into what happened. Ms. Dean says the examination must require the state health commissioner and others in the state government to provide real answers and accountability. Now, what we already know is horrible. Under Democrat Governor Andrew Cuomo, nursing homes were ordered to take thousands of patients sick with the virus, even though there were plenty of available hospital beds elsewhere in the state. Those New York nursing homes became factories of death as the corona patients infected vulnerable elderly residents. So far, Andrew Cuomo has been protected by the media. He hasn't been called out by CNN, Axios, the New York Times, or the Amazon Prime Washington Post. They're too busy trying to blame the coronavirus on President Trump. Ms. Dean, you, your loved ones, thousands of other families deserve to know what happened and why. Sadly, I don't know. I doubt you'll get those answers from Democrats or their drive-by media accomplices. They're still trying to sweep it all under the rug.
Rush Limbaugh, noon to 3 today, right here on WJR. All righty. Dana, your thoughts on the governor's speech? Let's unite to end pandemic, boost economy.
I thought it was good. I thought she, addressed the issues that people really want to know about, and that's the pandemic, COVID. She said we've made great strides, but still be patient. If you want to get the vaccine, it's going to be a little while longer. So, and then the schools, the target of March 1st. I think people were happy to hear that at least is coming forward, as we discussed yesterday, kids getting back to school and back to sports. So it was what was expected. I think she did a good job.
Annie?
My analysis would be kind of like Marie's. I thought that she tried to portray a positive attitude. And I think you're right, Paul. I think that's what you would do in a state of the state. But there's an awful lot going on behind the scenes that is problematic, including the big story with regard to the threat by the House Republicans to withhold all that money. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like two different worlds, It's a very positive speech, but yet, yikes, there's a lot going on behind the scenes.
And they also did not approve her. She had wanted to get approval on some appointments. I think there were 13 or 15 of them that they turned down yesterday. That's unheard of, really, to do that. So it's kind of interesting.
Well, they're definitely trying to get her attention. Mm-hmm. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
She's trying to get their attention. And luckily, since we will have the governor on at 8:18, and before that, Senator Mike Shirkey, Republican Senate Majority Leader, at 7:48, we're going to try to get to the bottom of what's it going to take to, in fact, work together. Because I guarantee you that Mike Shirkey and other legislators were watching going, are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. We've wanted to work together. You've ignored us. You've made these proclamations without even talking to us. Mm-hmm. So, and she's saying, get off the dime, guys. Let's do this. Let's work together. So it's kind of a standoff right now. Yeah. And we, the people, don't want a standoff. We want them to stand up and do their job.
State Address coverage with Paul W. Smith on WJR. Sponsored by UHY Certified Public Accountants and Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan. Once again, Paul W. Smith.
We've all kind of given our thoughts, and I can just sum them up. We're all pretty much on the same page. She gave a positive speech. I'll tell you, she reminded me of the flood, which we haven't talked about very much, but some of the things that we've gone through over the past 12 months, even 24 months, but the things that we've gone through have been overshadowed by the pandemic or the election or any number of other things. So she kind of went through all of that and basically said, we're coming through all of that in flying colors, and there's a lot of hope on the horizon. We're not done with pandemic by any stretch of the imagination. They're still waiting for shots, et cetera, et cetera. And she gave, I think, what you would expect in a state of the state address. The budget information will come out. The questions will come out. It almost sounded like she was giving $500 to every teacher in the state of Michigan. I didn't quite understand that. Did anybody else? What the thing called the
the teacher hazard pay?
Yeah.
So
my classroom heroes.
Right. Michigan teachers and school staff who work during the pandemic are going to get hazard pay by the 25th of February. It's $500 for teachers, $250 for staff, but they had to have filled out paperwork, eligibility forms by the end of December. So if you didn't do that, you would not be eligible for this.
I'd be pretty upset to find that out last night. You were supposed to do something in December. She also has the futures for frontliners, where they had temporarily, I don't really know how this works, but temporarily boosted their pay $2 an hour, and she made that permanent last night with over 82,000 people. I don't know what we're paying for, how that's being done, but obviously the question will come up with the question will be, where's all that money coming from? And you know where it's coming from, more taxes for us. And I did think it was a good play on the fixing the damn roads, which hasn't happened, but now fixing the damn road ahead tour that she's going on, fixing the damn road ahead tour. Anyway, so this all morning long, we'll be getting other people's thoughts and opinions on this. I don't know, Ann, are we opening the phones? But we've got a lot of guests that are going to be weighing in on this.
I don't think we'll be able to do that today.
Okay.
But I had another thought about that speech too, because after I watched it, I sent you a note, Paul, and I was kind of like, oh, is that all there is?
I wasn't going to bring that up, but you felt underwhelmed.
And I did, but I thought about why. Well, all the fanfare was missing. You know,
that's true. No applause stopping her. And,
well, you know how they walk in and both sides, both chambers are there. And
the theater of it all.
Yeah, it was totally
different citizens that have been involved over the years. It goes a lot longer and it's a lot bigger, and it was just, it's different. I mean,
it was all different, as is life. Ann wrote to me, since you brought it up, she wrote, is it me, or was that speech somewhat underwhelming?
Yeah.
But I'm glad you figured out that part of the underwhelmingness was the theater of it.
Yeah, it was missing.
You know, it's funny.
It was short.
I'm talking to Sweet Marie, as I try to do every night, of course, and 94, and her observation was, it seemed to go very long to me. And I went, Mother, it's a half an hour shorter. It was a half an hour shorter than usual. It's usually an hour.
So do you think all the fanfare makes it the longer? Do you think normally it would be about the 26, 27 minutes, but with the fanfare, it would go the whole hour?
I don't know.
All the applause, all the pauses.
All the pauses, standing. The people stand. The other people go out of their way not to stand.
Not to stand.
Yeah.
Sit.
Yeah, that's a little frightening how much fluff that adds to the speech. If she can get through this one in less than a half an hour. I just thought it was funny when my mother said it seemed awfully long. At 94, I bet it did. How many times has she heard all of that stuff?
Yeah.
How many state of the states has she sat through? How many governors? I love this. I had Sophie in our conversation last night use a word that I don't think I've ever heard, and I'm quite certain, having never heard it, I've never used it. And I'm wondering if you guys have used the word explicate. I don't remember even hearing the word explicate. And so I had to say, and I don't know that I've ever had to say this with my little girl, but I said, wait a minute, you just said you were busy explicating this such and such or whatever. And I went, well, what is explicate? And I will give her this. She didn't go, Dad, really? She didn't do that.
Good.
She explained. So I had to look it up to explain to you. It is a word that can be used in place of explaining. If you were to use synonyms for explanation, explication, exposition, interpretation are all words that can be used. For example, it took a chemist a long time to explicate the chemical process to the group of financial investors. It took a long time to explain it to them. I don't know why. I did not grow up using explicate, but she said they use it in high school now all the time.
Oh, it's just it's an updated version.
Like an updated.
It's the remix.
What's the difference between explanation and explication? Explanation is the general word for explaining anything that's puzzling or unclear. Explication is used mainly in the context of unfolding the meaning of something, as in literary text or criticism or textual interpretation. If the auditor finds an error in the accounting books, the treasurer will need to explicate the mistake.
So give more detail.
I'm looking at it. It says analyze. Analyzing it. So you're Maybe the kids put a little twist on that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know? That'd be a first. Kids putting a twist on.
Right,
something.
right.
Really?
Well, good for her for using
Yes,
a
that's
good
wonderful.
Yeah, I thought it was-
vocabulary word.
I thought it was cool. It was packed.
Good for her. Smart
Mhm.
girl.
Glad she explicated that to me.
Yeah.
It is 5:57 at WJR.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
It's a new year, but for kids in poverty around the world, things are still desperate. Join Compassion with your one-time $40 gift to provide a COVID relief kit to a family in poverty. Text the word GIVE to 83393. That's GIVE to 83393.
We've got it, our WJR Traffic and Weather first, and we've got Dana Clark.
Traffic First, sponsored by Liberty Title, protecting property since 1974. $2 billion a year is lost to cybercrime and identity theft in real estate transactions. Liberty Title insures and secures your closing dollars, now offering creative closing options to keep you safe, including remote online notarization, curbside, and contactless closings. You have a choice. Choose libertytitle.com. Coolidge, both directions, northbound and southbound between Square Lake and South Boulevard, looking at construction in Troy that's scheduled until the end of this month. Now, WJR Weather first from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Shelving.com. Shelving.com has durable storage products for your business, from trusted Metro brand wire and plastic shelving to Unirack pallet racking. They also offer high-density storage and gravity flow racks to help optimize space. Order now at Shelving.com. That's Shelving.com. We rack your world. It's going to be cold again today, coldest day of the week. Snow showers possible this morning, partly cloudy later, a high of only 23. Starting off with a wind chill this morning. Cloudy, currently 17 degrees tonight, partly cloudy, 13, your overnight low once again. On Friday, mainly sunny and a high of 27. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News, with Marie Osborne in about 2 minutes.
So, Paul, did you see that story about, what, maybe you could bring your mic down just a smidger, Paul?
Down?
Just a smidge. Now talk to me for a minute.
Hello, testing 1 2, testing
Okay,
1 2.
that's better.
What is it? What's it? Too loud? Too?
I could
Heavy
breathing.
bedroom breathing.
Hear you breathing.
What do you mean? I've been so overly concerned with my T-shirt showing. This is why I do radio, and yet look what's happened to us after all these years. And so I wore a V-neck T-shirt with the golf shirt, and yet it still shows, and it drives me crazy.
Now it's good.
Can't see it.
Now I've pointed it out to everybody, so now
Yeah,
you'll
so now
all be driven crazy
Looking
too.
for it. So
this-
did you see the GameStop? That's better, Paul.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you'd like, I could stop breathing.
Oh, we don't want that.
Take off your shirt? Is that what you said?
No, we said stop breathing.
Oh,
I'm wondering, Dana's having a little trouble hearing this morning, but anyway,
I want to tell you about something that you love to talk about.
what's that?
I'd like to
Bob?
talk about
Pizza?
pizza's a good one, but I want to talk about this Donald Foss, this Michigan billionaire who invested in GameStop.
oh.
Did you see this story about how much he made yesterday?
No, but we talked about GameStop yesterday.
Mhm.
Right, but now listen to
Now
this.
the news is all over this thing, saying they're playing a very dangerous game.
No pun
They
intended.
say someone's going to lose a lot of money.
Well,
Someone's made a lot of money.
Listen to this, Dub. A regulatory filing, this is in Cranes, shows that on February 28th of last year, he acquired just over 3.5 million shares of GameStop on a day when the stock closed at $3.60. Okay.
Oh my
So
God.
the value on that day was 12.65 million. Okay. So he held about 5.3% of the company. Now, yesterday, GameStop's stock, that's hard to say, was trading around $348 per share.
Mm.
It has now brought the value of his shares to well over $1 billion.
Oh, wow.
I don't know this gentleman, but might I suggest he get the hell out of that stock and
Yeah.
be very, very happy, even if it goes up to $500.
Mhm.
Pigs, what is it? How's it go? It's something about pigs and hogs.
So
Pigs
Paul,
get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Something like that.
he's the founder of Credit Acceptance Corporation. We do not know him. He's from Michigan. The company is based in
I think we're
Southfield.
related to him.
I bet we are. Yeah. He's 76
I think
years
he's
old.
my uncle.
He's probably your uncle, Foss. His name is Donald Foss. But
Donald,
isn't
if you'd like to include me in the will, it's Paul W. Smith.
He's liking it's too
I mean,
late now.
seriously, $348 a share with those 12 million. I mean, it's over $1 billion. Everyone's predicting something. This is going to wreak havoc because this started out as a game by a bunch of small-time investors who wanted to stick it to the guys that are playing the stock market and manipulating everything. And so they were betting for the stock to go down. So Elon Musk and a bunch of other guys says, yeah, really? Let's show them. Let's all buy that stock and make the stock go up. And look what's happened from $3.60 to $348 a share. You got 12 million of those, and you don't get out and say, I'm the luckiest man in the world. I made $1 billion profit. Not smart. I have a feeling this man didn't get wealthy in the first place. I mean, let's face it, the first buy was a lot of money, millions of dollars.
12.65 million.
So the fact is, he is a smart man, and he knows to get out.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, it must be great being really, really rich. You read about the first private space station crew was introduced. I never even thought of them as private space station crews. These are very rich guys who want to do something no one else in their block has done. They're going to fly up to the space station on a SpaceX rocket. And do you know how much that ticket costs each one of them?
More than the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right.
Just a hair over the Super Bowl. $55 million each for the right, the ability to risk your life on top of a bomb going up into the sky and getting on the space station, staying there for a week, probably with your pockets filled with things that when you bring them back and say, this was on the space station. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's not to sell because they don't obviously need the money.
How many people want to do that? How many people
There
are
are
willing to pay that?
three men who are doing that.
Do we
They'll spend
recognize
8
them?
days at the space station. It will take 1 or 2 days to get there aboard a SpaceX Dragon capsule following liftoff from Cape Canaveral. And so there are, let's see, first comes Larry Connor, a real estate and tech entrepreneur from Dayton, Ohio, Canadian financier Mark Pathy, and Israeli businessman Eitan Stibbe, who was a close friend of Israel's first astronaut who was killed in the Space Shuttle Columbia accident in 2003. This, by the way, not a good time to point out, but since that came up, on this day in 1986, guess what happened?
The Challenger explosion.
73 seconds after liftoff from Cape Canaveral, killing all 7 crew members, including school teacher Krista McCullough. I'll never forget it, ever. I won't forget where I was, ever. Do you guys all remember where you were?
I do. Of course.
Yes.
Where were you, Annie?
I was in a dentist chair.
That's something to never forget. Yeah. Dana,
Well,
where
and
were
I
you?
had to run back
I
to
was at
work.
college. I was at college, like in the, area where everybody kind of gathers and gets together and watches everything. Yeah, I was at St. John's.
Riri?
Oh, can't hear you.
Oh, no, we can't
Can't
hear.
hear.
I'll say where I was. I was.
That's me. Here I
Oh,
am.
there you go.
The kids were 2 of the kids were very, very small, and I just was at home working, with the kids, and I got a call from work saying you have to be on standby. So, yeah.
I think I remember Kim telling me the same thing. She was with one of the babies was in her lap, and a tear fell from her eye onto the baby, and the baby said, "Mommy, you can cry."
Oh.
What a moment that would be to never forget. I was at work. I had just gotten off the air at WABC in New York.
This is a special post-State of the State Address edition of Paul W. Smith on News Talk 760 WJR. This Morning Paul is sponsored by UHY Certified Public Accountants and Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan. Now with conversation and analysis of last night's address by Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Here's Paul.
We'll be doing that throughout the morning here with special guests, including the governor, talking about what she talked about, and the opposition to tell us exactly how they feel. I'm pretty sure that they're going to say, we've been trying to work with the governor. What is she talking about when she said, let's work together? So we'll try to get to the bottom of that and what it'll take for them to stop talking about each other and at each other and start talking with each other for the benefit of we the people. We the people here this morning will be online on our computers as well as on 760 on the AM dial all morning long. Marie Osborne, Dana Clark, Brian Morton in the studios, Mike Kim helping out in the background, and of course our executive producer front and center, Ann Thomas. Good morning, Annie.
Good morning, Deb. Happy Friday Eve.
Happy Friday Eve to you too. We were just talking about these really rich guys spending $55 million each to go up to the space station, and it led us to a couple of other thoughts, like on this day in history, January 28th, 1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded 73 seconds after liftoff from Cape Canaveral, killing all 7 crew members. Remember, the school teacher, Krista McCullough, was there. And because of that, a lot of school kids, students in their classrooms were watching this event. And what I started to say was, we all remembered exactly where we were. I was just getting off the air at WABC in New York, and I went into the booth. And I looked up at a monitor. No sound was on because the radio was on. And I looked up the monitor and I saw the shuttle going. And then all of a sudden, it seemed to explode. We weren't sure what the heck was going on, but we knew it wasn't supposed to look quite like that. And of course, it wasn't. And it was, in fact, the tragedy that it turned out to be. And that night, I ended up hosting a show with a child psychologist to talk to teachers who had to face their kids in school the next day and what the teachers could say to try to comfort those kids. And the most fascinating thing happened because we opened the phone lines for people to ask questions with this doctor. And it turned out that more kids called in to comfort the teachers.
No.
And to say they still wanted to be an astronaut. It was really very special. It was an incredible moment, and also taught us the resilience of kids, which is why it's so important to note that right now, with what we have done to kids and continue to do, no matter how quickly we get out of it, has been pretty horrific. More suicides than ever with kids. You read in Las Vegas, it's like 19 suicides in a 2 or 3 month period, which they had 9 the whole year before, but 19 in a 2 or 3 month period. So they said, we don't give a damn what's going on with COVID. We need to get the kids back in school, which is, of course, what a lot of experts have been saying for a very long time. What we have done to the kids has been horrible, frankly. So anyway, they're back. Kim is telling me I had the story wrong. It's very unusual for me to get a story wrong. I was misremembering. She actually said, she said, you misremembered. The Space Shuttle Challenger went down in 1983, and Jamie wasn't born until 1997.
Oh, oops.
No, 86. January
86, which is what I said earlier, January 28th, 1986. Kim was misremembering. Anyway, what happened there, she was talking about September 11th with Jamie on her lap.
Gotcha.
And then she corrected, said 1986, not 1983. Yes, you're right, 1986. Anyway, I remembered how touching it was to have a child sitting on your lap, having a tear fall and say, Mommy, you can cry. Mommies cry. It was something. Hey, remember this conversation with these fine young men, Nick and Connor Kalkanis. Dr. Stephen Kalkanis' kids.
Oh, nice. You got your mask.
Yeah, well, God bless Kim, because, I said to them, we're going to buy some masks. Well, I never got around to it because things that happen on the air happen, and then I get off the air, and unless someone reminds me, I don't do it. But they sent this lovely note, and they added that this is their terminology. We blew up after you hosted us.
Oh, nice.
Thank you so much. We owe you. Stay safe. Nick and Connor Kalkanis. And to send out thank you notes to people. This is a thank you note we sent out to everybody. They added the writing on there, the extra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
These are good kids. It was Country Day they went to, right? Country Day their students at. Makes you feel good that kids are learning all of these things. I had said to Sophie, you know what? You send a thank you note, a handwritten thank you note to somebody. These days especially, they're going to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I've always made my kids send thank you notes, and they would they would carry on about that, right? I mean,
like you're killing them.
And now they earn such, my son sent a thank you note to his girlfriend's mother for dinner, and brownie points for that, so
big points.
I said, yeah, thank your mother for teaching you one good thing.
The
thank you notes are vital. They're vital.
They're so underused. I always appreciate people who did them and used them a lot. And the big guy that I can remember, the biggest guy I can remember, was President George H.W. Bush. He was a big note writer. Yeah, I run into people all the time that at one time or another got a note from him. People in business or in politics. He was a big writer. Don't let me forget to tell you about a video out there online of the incredible work of the Michigan State Police, where they get a call from a woman saying she's being held against her will, being kidnapped with her 2 children, and they have dashboard camera footage that they put online for what they call a no-contact rolling roadblock. It is superb police work by the Michigan State Police and worth finding online to watch it. It's a thing of beauty, a thing of precision, where they do a rolling roadblock until they finally close the person off and stop them. No contact whatsoever, never putting the woman and the children in danger in that respect. Really something. All right, I'm glad I mentioned it. 6:14 at WJR.
This report is sponsored by Lord & Taylor. Lord & Taylor is closing forever. Don't miss your last chance to shop this iconic brand. Now save 75 to 90% throughout the store. Save up to 80% in their fur gallery, rug gallery, and fine jewelry department. Don't miss your final chance to shop Lord & Taylor before they close forever.
Let's check it. Our WJR traffic and weather first, and Dana Clark.
Very quiet, cold start out there, Paul W. But Ronald says there's a backup. It's at the Chick-fil-A in Shelby Township. So
Come on.
I know. Didn't know one was opening today. So that's
a couple of new ones. Yeah,
in Shelby Township. Thank you, Ronald. Otherwise, looking at construction in Royal Oak, 12 mile westbound at Stevenson Highway. That right lane is closed through February 8th. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel.
A little bit better looking day today. Lots of sunshine around with a few clouds at times. A cold start and chilly finish up to about 25. Tonight, similar to earlier this morning, about 12 above, a few clouds around single-digit suburbs. Sunshine tomorrow with highs near 30 degrees and maybe a little snow by the end of the weekend. From a Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stagicom on News Talk 760 WJR.
I don't get a chance always to look at what people have written to us, whether they're texting or online on Facebook and all of that. I love this one from Ron Campbell II. God bless Sophie. Extrapolate. My parents fainted in 7th grade when I came home from school and used the word hypotheses in a sentence. Thank you, 7th grade science teacher, Mr. Mata. And that's because of I can't remember. Explication. Sophie used it in a sentence talking to me on the phone. I had to stop her and say, I've never heard that word. So it was good to learn a word. On this National Blueberry Pancake Day, just thought I'd point that out. Blueberries are so good for you. You know, for over 100 years, Absopure has remained committed to serving communities throughout Michigan. And now, in our changed work environment, Absopure is ready to serve you, just as they always have. Absopure is dedicated to providing offices with top-notch refreshment and top-notch service, no matter what. They offer a variety of bottled waters for office delivery, including natural spring, steam distilled, and becoming my favorite right now, the vapor distilled with electrolytes in the round Absopure bottle. Absopure Plus is what we call it. Each variety comes in an assortment of sizes ranging from individual bottles to 5-gallon jugs with options to meet any company size. And refreshment doesn't stop at water, of course. Absopure is our go-to provider for a delicious assortment of coffee and coffee goods to power our workday. Whether it's by the pot or by the cup, they have the brands you love with the service you expect. Let Absopure make staying hydrated and fueled the easiest part of getting back to business. Visit absopure.com/WJR or call 800-4, then Absopure to learn more about Absopure products and to sign up for safe, convenient, zero-contact delivery service. That's absopure.com/WJR or call 800-4-ABSOPURE. It's 6:18 at 760 WJR.
Welcome to Spotlight on Dubster. We're going to put in Joe Bellino here, and I'm going to go backstage. I see him. So, Curtis, we should probably bring Joe in. And there he is. Joe Babe.
Babe.
But he looks frozen.
He does look frozen. That's how I'll always remember him. I don't know why he's frozen.
He's really frozen.
He's not moved since he's been there.
Oh, he's coming back.
Maybe he reset it or maybe. Curtis, thank you for being with us.
Yeah,
this
Curtis,
morning.
thank you.
Glad to be here.
When I was hooking up my equipment at about 4:45, I looked and saw you there in the corner, and I thought, oh, poor Curtis. He has to be with us first thing in the morning, all morning long. The unsung heroes behind the scenes of WJR.
Now, Joe
Baby's got on his.
Joe, does he have it? Oh, he does have. Joe Babe, are you there? Can you hear us?
We might want to have him call in.
What did Curtis just say?
So we might
want to have him call in.
Because
that does not seem to be working. Looks like he's on a cellular connection.
Okay, Joe Babe, if you can hear us, could you call in?
You're going to have to go offline here and give him the inside number, I think.
Yeah, I'll text him. I'll go off. I'm going backstage.
Joe Bellino, of course, State Representative Joe Bellino, the Republican representing Michigan's 17th district, including Monroe, and now he is also the chairman of the House Energy Committee, and he's the first of our legislators and others that are going to be weighing in on the governor's State of the State address, and of course, Senate Majority Leader Mike will join us at about 7:48.
Save big on all your favorites with the sale happening right now at untuckit.com and at Untuckit's 80-plus stores for a limited time only. Untuckit shirts are designed to be worn untucked. They're the easy-to-wear styles that every guy loves and the perfect way to feel comfortable and look sharp. Don't miss your chance to save big on these top styles for the season with the sale happening right now at untuckit.com. Untuckit, shirts designed to be worn untucked.
Looking around your law firm, it's hard not to be proud of what you've created. A respected brand with 20 associates who give their all every day. You have what it takes to go big. Everything except a plan. How will you expand your footprint or increase revenue? Lexicon makes it possible. Lexicon is a legal services and technology provider with over a decade of experience helping law firms scale and grow while maximizing billable hours and maintaining client satisfaction. Call 855-4-LEXICON or visit lexiconservices.com/grow to learn more.
The market is constantly changing. The Marketplace Minute keeps you up to date 1 minute at a time before your morning exercise.
Alexa, play Marketplace Minute. All operators file for bankruptcy.
While organizing your receipts.
Hey Siri, play Marketplace Minute.
Says it's been spending more on hiring.
During your afternoon snack.
Hey Google, play the Marketplace Minute. Upward swings in indices in Europe and Asia.
The Marketplace Minute, a podcast and smart speaker briefing updated 3 times daily. Ask your smart speaker speaker to play the Marketplace Minute. Listen on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your shows.
Welcome back to more post-State of the State address coverage with Paul W. Smith on WJR. Sponsored by UHY Certified Public Accountants and Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan. Once again, Paul W. Smith.
Well, the best laid plans. We had Joe Bellino, a state representative, Republican representing Michigan's 17th district, including Monroe, on our line on Facebook live here. But now we have to take him on the telephone so that we can speak to him because time marches on. And we want to get his thoughts on the governor's State of the State address. So as we like to affectionately call him, Joe Babe, because everybody used to be called Babe by Joe Bellino when you'd come into his old family business, Broadway Market, which they have since sold. And he's spending all of his time as state representative. And so you're on the other end of our line, Joe Babe. Good morning to you.
Hey, Babe, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, Babe. What did you think of the governor's State of the State last night?
Well, first of all, sorry about the connection. I got off 96, got into McDonald's, got on Wi-Fi, and I just couldn't connect it right. So, Paul, I was very impressed last night that for the second straight time on TV, the governor wasn't on the bully pulpit with a baseball bat slamming the legislature in the head. And that was very refreshing. Her talking about wanting to work together is like a new road forward for me. And I appreciate that from her.
Well, what's keeping that from happening? I would like to hear your side of that story. We'll hear from Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey a little later, but don't you feel from my conversations with all of you guys along the way that she's been bearing her own amount of the responsibility for the two groups to not get together?
Well, Paul, I think it's policy differences. It's ideas how to spend the money, where to spend the money. We all want to help people with the COVID problem. We have plenty of money pushing forward for vaccines, plenty of money for testing, lots of money for schools, lots of money for Title I for schools that with kids in need. There's a lot of money out there. It's just how you're going to do it. I don't want to write a blank check and give it to a school or whatever and say, do what you want with it. I want to have certain parameters. I want to have checks and balances. I want to see where the money's going. I mean, I find out yesterday that all the money for vaccines we gave last year hasn't been spent yet. So why are we going to give her $50 million more if the other money hasn't been spent yet? So we just want to see what's going on. And obviously the transparency hasn't been there. So that makes people a little worried.
Okay. Well, first thing you said, Joe Bellino, Representative Joe Bellino, is you were happy that she didn't come out swinging a baseball bat at you guys, that she came out with an olive branch, basically, and is reaching out publicly to the legislature to work with her on all the problems that we have. There are plenty of problems that we have, and frankly, there's going to be plenty of problems in paying for all the problems that we have, because there's a lot of money being doled out. When you consider 82,000 people with a $2 per hour raise, for direct care workers, that's maybe not coming from us. I'm not sure who that's coming from, the people that hire them. But these awards for $500 each for teachers and support staff, that's money that's going to have to be paid out by us. So there's a lot to be done, and nothing gets done if you guys don't work together. On the other hand, she has done a lot without you guys, much to your chagrin. She has been able to accomplish, at least from everything we can see, certain things that generally would be the sorts of things that you would work together on, which has caused a great deal of ire and upset a lot of fellow legislators, Joe.
Well, I think we could have gotten through this working together, but that's just my opinion. I was very pleased yesterday that when Chairman Albert, the appropriations chair, came out with our plan, that she was very positive. The first sentence was she was happy to see that we want to work together. So that's the right step forward. We've got ideas. That $500 for the teachers that are getting, that's federal money from last year's plan. Our plan for this year calls for a $1,000 bonus from the federal money if they help out with summer school. Our plan is all about getting the kids up to the grade level, up to the education level they should be at from what they've missed the last year. And let's be honest, Paul, stats have shown kids aren't learning the way they were before. Stats have shown parents want kids back in the classroom. We know the kids are hurting. So let's do it in a proper, safe way. My grandson had a snow day Tuesday in Grand Rapids, and I called him. He said, Papa, we got a snow day. I said, don't you have a virtual day? And he said to me, what's virtual? Well, I find out his school never went virtual. They went back when school opened up in the spring and been going 5 days a week. And
you're kidding me.
One child
in Grand Rapids,
outside of Grand Rapids, one child's exposed. One teacher had to sit back. There was no outbreak. Nobody died. So they practice best practices: masking up, social distance, don't overload the schoolroom, no gym class, things like that. And the kids are learning, and we can do this. I know we can do this. It's been proven. So I'm looking forward to it.
This led to one late night call to Governor Granholm when we were in Grand Rapids, and I wanted her to reassure me that Grand Rapids really was in the state of Michigan. Because it was so different there.
Yeah, it is. Hey, thanks, babe. Thanks for calling.
Okay. Do you miss the store?
I miss the people, man. Every day. Hey, babe, how you doing? Hey, babe, you're ugly. Things like that. I miss all that stuff. So,
I'm sure
yes, I do.
The people miss you, Joe. I promise you that. All righty. It used to be, well, it still is, I assume, Broadway Market, but Joe, Babe, good. Joe Babe Bellino and his family owned it and worked it. And it was always a pleasure to stop in and say hi to Joe and be called Babe, etc. State Representative Joe Bellino, Republican representing Michigan's 17th district, including my old hometown of Monroe. 628 at WJR.
This report is sponsored by the Exergen Temporal Scanner. These may be uncertain times, but what is certain is that every family needs a reliable thermometer. Protect your family with the Exergen Temporal Scanner, the only home thermometer used and recommended by hospitals, physicians, and clinics. Stay safe with Exergen.
And let's find out how we're doing here at 628, our WJR Traffic and Weather First, and Miss Dana Clark.
Nice and quiet out there, Paul W. Accident free on the roadways. Looking at construction 75 north on at 14 Mile. The on-ramp is closed for construction through early April. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Gordon Chevrolet. Gordon Chevrolet, pull ahead your lease and take advantage of zero interest for up to 84 months or sign and drive lease programs. End of the month deals. Open special hours is Saturday 9 to 3. Gordon Chevrolet, Ford Road, just west of Merriman in Garden City. GordonChevrolet.com. Find new roads. It's going to be a cold start and a cold finish today. Snow showers this morning, hitting a high of 23. We'll see partly cloudy skies later tonight. Back to the teens. Partly cloudy, your low 13. On Friday, mainly sunny. That'll be nice and a high of 27. Cloudy skies, 17 degrees. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Marie Osborne in 1 minute.
At Farm Bureau Insurance, we cover Michigan. We cover everywhere from M57 to M43, M22, and every other route. We cover from Paradise to Hell, Christmas to Kalamazoo. We cover up north. And yep, we know exactly where that is. From sandbars to sand dunes, cider mills to skiing hills, and farm towns to downtowns. We insure auto, home, business, life, and yep, you guessed it, farm. We cover trip and falls to falling limbs, big bucks, and large trucks. From small startups to big business, and from cream to corn. Yep, we insure it all. We cover new arrivals, homecomings, and farewells. We're there for good times, hard times, and past times. Yep, we cover Michigan because we're Michigan's insurance company. Find your coverage anywhere in Michigan at farmbureauinsurance.com.
In her State of the State address, Governor Whitmer said frontline workers who received a pay increase during the COVID crisis, well, she says she wants that increase to be permanent.
We owe a special thank you to frontline healthcare workers, including direct care workers who provide nursing and healthcare for seniors and Michiganders with disabilities. We gave these heroes $2 an hour increase. I worked with the legislature to extend it for months and then for a few more months. Now It's time to make that pay raise permanent.
During her State of the State, the governor congratulated vaccine maker Pfizer in Kalamazoo, which created 450 jobs amid the pandemic. Michigan teachers and school staff who've been working during the pandemic will be getting hazard pay by the 25th of February. It's $500 for teachers and $250 for staff who had met the December deadline for submitting eligibility forms. The Biden administration looking to expand the supply of coronavirus vaccine countrywide. Fox's Aisha Hasni has the story.
Amid growing complaints about vaccine shortages, the Biden administration this week announcing that states would see a 16% boost in doses next week. But for some, that won't be enough. President Biden going further to announce a purchase of 200 million more doses of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, all in order to vaccinate 300 million Americans by this summer. At one point, even suggesting that his vaccination goal could rise to 1.5 million shots a day.
And President Biden previously had set that goal of 1 million Americans vaccinated a day, a pace that is nearly achieved upon the start of his term. The Department of Homeland Security has issued a threat bulletin due to the ongoing potential for violence in the wake of the presidential inauguration. This includes concerns that domestic extremists might be emboldened to attack the U.S. Capitol again. Acting DHS Director David Pekoski issued the National Terrorism Advisory System bulletin due to a heightened threat environment across the United States. DHS believes this will persist in the weeks following the inauguration. Threats against lawmakers fuel safety concerns for travel outside of Washington. Trade and Manufacturing Policy Director Peter Navarro is now being restricted from Twitter for claiming that former President Trump was cheated in the 2020 election. He says that he is reacting to some of this violation as he says this is a violation of freedom of speech.
It's because of who I am and what I might say, not because of.
You doing okay?
Yeah, that's the problem with this system. If I had regular headphones on, I would hear myself breathing into the microphone. I hear nothing from me.
You don't. I mean, you're not anymore. It's perfect.
I know, but I should have been able to. Anyway.
But you could do that. You could use regular headphones, right?
No, it's not to this system. That's the problem. And it's not that these headphones don't. I hear you through these headphones,
right.
but for whatever reason, it doesn't let you hear yourself. That's the same with yours, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You hear me really well, but you don't hear yourself. And I'm used to hearing myself in the headphones. It's just what I'm used to for 52 years, for God's sakes.
So coming up here, chat with Marie. Did you see that nice story about Ray's ice cream in Royal Oak?
Yeah, I meant to send that to Kim because I think it's Ray's that she's family friends with for a long time. I think it's Ray's. I can't remember for sure because I misremember these things all the time.
If it is, I'd be interested if she has a contact for them. We could chat with them tomorrow because it's a really nice story. You and Marie could talk about it coming out here.
Oh my God, Ann, you sent me a story that says woman stabs husband over sex photos with another woman before realizing it was actually her.
Can you believe that?
Oh my!
It was the funniest part about that story. That's a good one to talk to Marie about too. But the funniest part about
no, I'm not talking to Marie about that. No,
she was younger and thinner.
Back then?
Yes.
Oh my God.
So she didn't recognize herself.
Oh, that's nuts.
Isn't that the craziest story? Thank God he didn't die.
Oh my God. Thank God.
But
That's right.
Marie would get a kick out of that.
No, Marie would not get a kick out of that. You don't know Marie as well as I do already. Sitting here with her in the morning, she's not going to get a kick out of that story. But the Ray's Ice Cream fundraiser.
I think she would.
I like the headline though because it Ray's Ice Cream fundraiser nets $52,000 in 24 hours to help stay afloat. Get it? Ice cream shop.
Soda.
Float soda. Yeah, afloat.
I get
All right.
it.
That is. Oh no! I got it. See, I got it wrong. She's talking about our old friend Dave Durant from Uncle Ray's in Fenton.
Oh.
So that's not the same. I knew there was a Ray in there somewhere. But that's Dave Durant and Uncle Ray's in Fenton. This one is not. Oh, no, I just lost the story that you sent me. Oh, here it is, Ray's Ice Cream. So
you just see they did it with, relatively small donations.
yeah, it is heartwarming to see people rally around a business per se that they love, or that the person who runs the business is beloved, and people care enough about them that they want to help keep them alive by just putting money into a fundraiser like that.
Oh, now Patrice says.
Review. Call 248-230-8595.
I can't hear you over the station.
230-8595.
Welcome back to more post-State of the State address coverage with Paul W. Smith on WJR. Sponsored by UHY Certified Public Accountants and Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan. Once again, Paul W. Smith.
Ann and I were just talking about a GoFundMe campaign for Ray's Ice Cream in Royal Oak. And one of our listeners, one of Paul's pals, if you will, that listens and watches, because we're still on the computer all morning long for this special edition of discussing the governor's State of the State address, as well as all the other things that we generally talk about. She's watching us, I think, on WJR.com or our Facebook page, I guess. Patrice Davidson Rink says Ray's Ice Cream has so far raised $61,971 with their GoFundMe campaign. So that's very nice. And we were just talking about how great it is, how people through this pandemic have rallied together to save places that deserve to be saved, that are hurting through no fault of their own. But business was so slow at Ray's Ice Cream in Royal Oak that the 63-year-old shop was forced to launch a crowdfunding campaign this week to stay afloat through this pandemic, and the response has been overwhelming. Their goal was $50,000, and they're at $61,000, as we mentioned, thanks to Patrice. The majority of the contributions were very small, too. $5, well, there was some that were $250, which is obviously not small, but this is all good news, according to the Facebook post by Ray's Ice Cream. Speechless is the way they put it. And they never thought they would be in that position. Apparently, the owner, Tom Stevens, set up the GoFundMe account. And I immediately got them confused with Uncle Ray's, not to be confused with this Ray's. Who knew there were so many Rays in the great state of Michigan? Now, Marie Osborne, the Uncle Ray's with Dave Durant, is in Fenton. But Marie, I am told that you probably go to this Ray's in Royal Oak, but I don't see Marie.
Oh, yes, but I'm here. Can you hear me, Paul?
Yes, it's like Clarence talking to heaven.
Yeah, I know. Well, there,
Wonderful Life.
I'm an angel.
Yes, you are.
Ray's Ice Cream is an extremely awesome place. I mean, they make all their ice cream there. It's just a fabulous place, and I'm very sorry that they're, encountering these kinds of problems here. Obviously due to the pandemic, everybody is, and certainly cold weather is not helping right now either. But they make fabulous ice cream, fabulous.
They must, and they make fabulous friends for people to come up with $61,000 plus dollars. To keep them alive. How wonderful. What a wonderful, heartwarming story. What's your favorite ice cream when you go to Ray's?
Well, chocolate chip. And they used to
say
have,
that like I would know chocolate chip.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, no, I just think everybody loves chocolate chip, right?
It wouldn't be my first choice.
Oh, it wouldn't? What would be yours?
You're not going to like this.
Okay, I just tell me, because I'm
vanilla.
Oh, vanilla. Well, listen,
I love
vanilla ice cream is
I love
great.
good vanilla ice cream.
Yes.
Followed by coffee ice cream, followed by butter pecan ice cream.
Oh, butter pecan gets a bad rap. It's
Why?
my husband's It's my husband's favorite. And
Well, John is a very bright man.
Yeah, but the kids give him a lot of grief for that. They say,
Why?
Well, they say it's for the senior set, is what they say. So they're always on his
I almost
case
did a
about
spit
that.
take for the senior set. Butter pecan ice cream. Well,
It's like an
Grandpa
old
Harry-
fashioned.
Grandpa Harry lived to be 100, eating butter pecan ice cream almost every day.
Did he? You see, that's just kind of an old fashioned ice cream, according to the kids. That's what they always tell him is, when he asks for a butter pecan. I will tell you, Ray's had, and I don't want to say that they have this and then they don't, but they had these like fruit shaped ice creams that were just beautiful, and I can't remember the name of what they were called, but they looked like fruit, like like a plum, let's say. And boy, those were really an elegant like dessert if you were having a dinner party and you did
the ice cream in the hollowed out plum?
No. It was in the shape. It was all ice cream, and it was in the shape of a fruit. I'll have to look up the name of it and send you a little more info on that.
There have been these fruits that were filled with ice cream, frozen. It was pretty interesting, if I'm remembering that correctly. By the way, Patrice also tells us about the GoFundMe that Cucina, Greek street food,
That's
obviously another restaurant, donated $250 to raise. And let's face it, Cucina is going through troubles as well. I mean, all restaurants are going through troubles. It's just been a terrible year. And by the way, when I was talking about the $500 going to teachers, Lori says, I can't speak for other educators, but I purchased many items to make remote learning work: headphones, phone stands to use to make videos, folding stools for students to borrow, a cable to extend my computer screen to a second monitor, increased home internet speed to ensure a good connection. I am not downplaying what teachers have done in sacrificing their own money. Believe me, I understand teachers are not paid enough, period. I'm just saying, if you're going to give $500 to every teacher, I'm just asking where the money's coming from. That's my job. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't deny that teachers should make a lot more money, but we have to account for all of that. Don't we? I think we do. It is 6:43 at WJR.
This report is sponsored by the Exergen Temporal Scanner. Fever is the leading sign of COVID-19. Use an accurate thermometer for twice daily checks. Protect your loved ones with the Exergen Temporal Scanner. It takes an accurate reading in seconds and is the only home thermometer recommended by hospitals, physicians, and clinics. Stay safe with Exergen.
Let's check it right here, right now. Our WJR traffic and weather. First and Dana Clark.
Still quiet out there, Paul W. Accident free, no delays. Let's see a construction spot along 75 southbound at Big Beaver. That off-ramp is closed for construction. That's through March 19th. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by the Cremation Society of Michigan for over 33 years. The Cremation Society of Michigan has been providing dignified cremation services without the cost of traditional funerals. For cremation information, contact the Cremation Society of Michigan at 1-800-241-3131 or visit cremationmichigan.com.
Looks a little better here on this Thursday morning, but cold out there. Hopefully you bundled up, a few clouds around, clear sky otherwise throughout the day today, and about 25. Tonight, down near 12 degrees, single-digit suburbs. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, close to 30. Dry Saturday, maybe a little snow by Sunday. From a Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stagik on News Talk 760 WJR.
Still 19 degrees so far, and if it goes like every morning this week, what we start at is pretty much what we finish at 9 o'clock. So it's just going to be very cold, as it generally is on the final days of January. Wind, solar, electric cars, they all play a part in Michigan's green energy future, and so do we. Consumers Energy is committed to providing resources to help reduce energy waste because they recognize the first step to clean energy starts at home with an efficient appliance, an LED light bulb, or maybe even a new habit or two. Learn how you can help protect the planet while lowering your energy bill at mycleanenergy.com. mycleanenergy.com. But remember, we're Michigan, so we get to use MI as my. mycleanenergy.com. You can count on Consumers Energy. It is 6:45 with Paul W. JR.
With the recent shift in administration in Washington, there are many reports about estate tax laws that are likely to change. When it comes to estate and gift planning, the conceivable changes could be far-reaching. It is critical that high net worth individuals, particularly those with business assets, understand the proposed estate changes in the new administration's tax plan. UHY has created an easy-to-follow likelihood assessment of what could be passed in 2021. Contact any of UHY's Michigan offices to get a copy. There are options you may want to exercise now that could very well be gone soon. Reach out to your trusted UHY advisor to start the process. Their commitment is to minimize taxes and preserve family wealth. To learn more, email greatlakes@uhy-us.com. Again, that's greatlakes@uhy-us.com to protect your estate for the next generation. UHY Certified Public Accountants, the next level of service.
Sports betting is live in Michigan, and to celebrate, FanDuel Sportsbook is giving you the chance to get an even bigger win when you bet the Lakers versus Pistons game this Thursday. For every 313 fans who bet on the Pistons to cover the spread, FanDuel Sportsbook will move the line 1 point in the Pistons' favor. There's no limit to how good this line can get. As long as enough fans keep betting, the line will keep moving. And best of all, they're going to pay out whatever the line lands at by tip-off, so you don't have to wait to get in on the action. If you already have a
Dubster,
Yeah.
our next guest, Deb Dansby, she's not going to be on StreamYard, I guess, now. Apparently, she's going to be calling in. Brian says she is not there yet. Now, let's see here. I guess he'll have to let us know. If she isn't, you could use some of the governor's cuts. And if you want, we could chat a little bit. So I'll just kind of stand by.
Again.
From sandbars to sand dunes, cider mills to skiing hills.
Okay, and Deb is there now on the phone. Deb's on.
She is there. Okay. I just went to get my cuts.
Yeah, and now I'll go backstage.
Falling limbs, big bucks, and large trucks. From small startups to big business. And from cream to corn. Yep, we insure it all. We cover new arrivals, homecomings, and farewells. We're there for good times, hard times, and past times. Yep, we cover Michigan because we're Michigan's insurance company. Find your coverage anywhere in Michigan at farmbureauinsurance.com.
Welcome back to more post-State of the State address coverage with Paul W. Smith on WJR. Sponsored by UHY Certified Public Accountants and Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan. Once again, Paul W. Smith.
All in all, a positive state of the state. It's exactly what one would expect. The governor kind of did a victory lap around the things that have happened. Some of them, most of them very bad, but we've come through most of them, and we're coming through the pandemic. And she explained what she wants to do. Let's unite to end the pandemic and boost the economy. The governor will be with us at 8:18. Before that, Senator Mike Shirkey, Senate Majority Leader, at 7:48. And as Joe Bellino has reminded us, when I say want to know who's paying for this stuff, frankly, for whatever reason, we haven't used up all the federal money from last year that has been given to us for COVID relief. So all the money she was talking about would really be from those COVID relief dollars. It's federal money that's already assigned to us. It just hasn't been assigned to anyone, and that's where she was coming up with the extra $2 an hour and the $500 bonus for teachers that well deserve it, those that have been teaching and working with students. We talk about how hard it is on the students. It's very tough on the teachers, too. So we're glad they're going to get back to class. We can argue till we're blue in the face that they never should have been out of class, but we have to deal with the reality of the day. One of the realities of the day you just heard from Farm Bureau Insurance is that they are here to help us do this program. There aren't too many things that come to you absolutely free anymore. Radio is that. And we're glad to come to you every morning, starting at 5:30, and then all day long and all night long on 760 on the AM dial, and special days like today on WJR.com as as well as your Facebook, WJR Facebook page. And we can't do that without help. And we're getting that kind of help from Farm Bureau Insurance. And I'm happy to say Deb Dansby, the Vice President of Marketing at Farm Bureau Insurance, on the other end of our line right now. Good morning to you, Deb.
Good morning, Paul.
I hope that you've been faring well. Like so many of our Michigan companies, you obviously have had to change the way you do business and continue to move forward.
You know, we have, and we're no different than any other company out there. We've had to adapt during the pandemic. And like many Michigan companies, we've had to change the way we do business and move forward under, new parameters, new technology, and just a new way of thinking. But like many companies, I think it's really brought out a lot of innovation. Companies have really looked at fundamental grassroots of how they do business and looked at how they have to restructure that and meet the needs of their customers and still be out there to help their customers and protect their customers during this crazy time.
Crazy time indeed, but you've wanted to make sure that all your members, your insureds, your employees are safe. That's what all of our companies have been doing, as well as doing their business. And I always like to point out, Deb, that Farm Bureau Insurance is, in fact, made up of many farmers. Many of your board members are farmers. Many of your customers are farmers. You're therefore truly attuned to agricultural issues, our state's second largest industry. But I also remind people in that same breath that Farm Bureau Insurance is for everybody.
It is. And you couldn't be more right. We are for everybody, but our grassroots is in the agricultural industry, and our company was founded by farmers, and it's still managed and run by a board of farmers today. And we've been immersed in the agricultural issues that have arisen because of COVID, the food scarcity and the food supply chain issues that have come about. Many of our children across the state, struggle getting food every day, and their one source of food is to go to school. And when that source, is gone because they're not going to school anymore, there's a lot of hungry kids across the state and hungry adults that we've been working hard alongside our agent charitable fund to give back and get meals in the hands of those folks across the state. We did that through a Million Meals Challenge early this year and really started to put food back into the 7 food banks across the state. And then we tried to do the same thing with the We're in This Together campaign, where I think we'd mentioned this to you before, where we had given back dollars to our local restaurants. 1,200 restaurants partnered with us across the state that we infused with some capital and opportunity to feed not only our members, but some of the hungry folks and first responders across the state. So we're back to our grassroots. Pandemics and crazy world events cause you to kind of refocus on what's important, and keeping our insureds, our members, and our employees safe, and getting that food supply chain back into the system is extremely important to our company.
It's been challenging. You guys have risen to the occasion, and I would say one of the most memorable, I don't know if that's the right term, but in your 72-year history of giving back to families and communities of Michigan. That's something I am sure, Deb Dansby, Vice President of Marketing for Farm Bureau Insurance, something that you're very proud of.
I am. I couldn't be more proud to be part of a company that, puts that first and foremost in everything that we do. We want to provide and protect for all Michiganders, and we do that in so many ways. I'm so proud to be part of a team that is out there with an agency force that does it day in and day out and kind of leads the way and set such a positive momentum for our state.
That new no-fault law has been in effect for 6 or 7 months now, I think. How's that going?
Paul, no fault it's one of those things. It's exciting that the state starts to take steps to look at our auto law across the state, but it's a complicated animal. And, for many ordinary people, it's really hard to understand what no fault means and what all the changes are. And our agents have been really leading the way to make sure that our insureds understand, or any insured out there has the opportunity to come and learn about all the options under no fault, and make sure that our members have the coverage that's right for them. And that's what's important, is really customizing no fault for what every insured needs across the state.
And let's face it, as you would say, and you've said, anyone who is unsure about no fault or their coverage should chat with one of your agents, the experts in this area. and they can help.
Absolutely. And, you know, that's what they're there for. They study this law inside now, and they really want to be there to make sure people understand their choices and make good, informed decisions about what they need.
Well, God bless you and all the hardworking men and women of Farm Bureau Insurance in your 72-plus years, especially during this time of crisis. You guys work hard, work smart, work together for all of us as we continue to the positive side of the ledger in this new year. It's certainly what we've all been planning on and hoping for. And I want to thank you for your support, Deb.
Absolutely. Thank you for all you're doing, Paul. Way to get the word out there. A positive new year is what we're all looking forward to.
Deb Dansby, Vice President of Marketing for Farm Bureau Insurance, one of our extra special supporters and sponsors every day, including this special day with this special broadcast. Marie sending along more information, the money, where's the money coming from? Hazard paychecks to teachers and school staff that worked through the pandemic will be sent by the end of February, according to an update by the Michigan Department of Treasury. The MI Classroom Heroes grants would send $500 bonus payments for teachers, $250 checks to staff by February 25th. Per the update, the legislature and Governor Gretchen Whitmer struck a state budget deal last October that set aside that $53 million in hazard pay for teachers, $20 million for support staff. Much of this coming, if not all of it, from the federal government. So we appreciate that lowdown. 6:57 on WJR.
This report is sponsored by Lord & Taylor. Lord & Taylor is closing forever. Don't miss your last chance to shop this iconic brand. Now save 75 to 90% throughout the store. Save up to 80% in their fur gallery, rug gallery, and fine jewelry department. Don't miss your final chance to shop Lord & Taylor before they close forever.
That's kind of sad to hear, isn't it? Another one bites the dust. Lord & Taylor been around forever, and they too falling to the pandemic and other business forces. Let's find out what's going on. Our WJR Traffic and Weather first, Dana Clark.
Nice and quiet, Paul W. Not seeing any accidents, no delays out there. Construction in the way, of course, as always, in Detroit, Grand River Avenue between Farmer and Woodward. Lane restriction scheduled there for another year, at least December 2022, for that Hudson site redevelopment. Now, WJR Weather first from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Gordon Chevrolet. Gordon Chevrolet, pull ahead your lease and take advantage of zero interest for up to 84 months or sign and drive lease programs. End of the month deals. Open special hours is Saturday 9 to 3. Gordon Chevrolet, Ford Road, just west of Merriman in Garden City. GordonChevrolet.com. Find new roads. Cold day today. Expected snow showers this morning, a high of 23, partly cloudy. Later this afternoon, tonight, back down into the teens. Partly cloudy skies, your low 13. We get lots of sunshine once again to kick off the weekend on Friday, a high of 27. Cloudy, 17 degrees. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Marie Osborne in 2 minutes.
Paid for by Asset Marketing Services, LLC. 2021 marks the 35th anniversary of the American Eagle Coin Program, and these historic silver coins will never be the same again. Why?
The U.S. Mint has unveiled new designs for the 2021 American Silver Eagle coins, scheduled to appear mid-year.
This means now is your last chance to get an American Silver Eagle coin with the original Eagle design.
The American Eagle Coin Series has become the best-selling coin series in the world.
Act fast or miss your opportunity to own the last year of this historic Silver Eagle coin design.
Just call govmint.com at 1-800-973-3097 and you're guaranteed a shiny, new, perfect mint condition American Eagle silver dollar.
Get them now before time runs out.
Call 1-800-973-3097 now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, free with every order.
This exclusive offer is only available by phone. Call 1-800-973-3097 now to secure your American Eagle silver dollar coins before the current design ceases production. That's 1-800-973-3097.
WJR Detroit and WDVD HD2 Detroit. The great voice of the Great Lakes. 760 WJR, where Detroit comes to talk.
Governor Whitmer putting a positive message front and center for her third State of the State address, despite serious disagreements with state Republicans over various issues, including the handling of the pandemic. The governor pointing to an agreement for small business relief.
Last month, I signed a bipartisan $106 million relief bill that directed $55 million to help small businesses impacted by COVID. including restaurant owners who've made incredible sacrifices to keep their communities safe.
Whitmer also calling on the Michigan legislature to take action on jobs for Michigan. She congratulated vaccine maker Pfizer in Kalamazoo, which created 450 jobs amid the pandemic. Hazard paychecks to teachers and school staff that worked through the pandemic will be sent out by the end of February, according to an update. The My Classroom Heroes grants would send $500 bonus payments to teachers and $250 checks to staff by February 25th. The legislature and Governor Whitmer struck a state budget deal last October that set aside $53 million in hazard pay for teachers and $20 million for the support staff. President Biden isn't quite done yet with executive orders and actions. Fox's Peter Ducey explains from the White House.
As president, he's going to make Obamacare even bigger with 2 new executive orders. One of them is going to reopen the Obamacare marketplaces for anybody who missed open enrollment because the White House is hoping to get more people covered during the pandemic. That is going to happen on February 15th and run through May, shortly after a promotional blitz to make sure anybody who might want to enroll knows it's possible. There's also going to be an executive order aimed at protecting women's health at home and abroad.
The president signed more than 30 executive orders and actions in his first week in office, a much higher number than his predecessor in the same time frame. The state reporting 1,681 new cases of the coronavirus, 6 deaths. The University of Michigan telling students living on or near the campus in Ann Arbor to stay at their addresses, not to gather, now through February 7th. The stay-in-place directive is from the county trying to stop the spread of the new variant that officials say is more contagious than the original.
Doing okay, Deb? Paul W., do you need anything?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, great.
It's obviously it's a little more hectic doing it this way. And
yes, a little bit, little different procedure here. Just a couple of notes. All the guests coming up in this hour are supposed to come on to StreamYard. So just so you know that. Marie, because she has to change equipment, she may be able to pop in here at 7:05, but know that she's there no matter what, even if you don't see her.
Okay.
So that's just something to know. And then I think we're in pretty good shape here.
All righty. Very good. Do we still have a 9:05 recording?
Yes, and Brian will tell you we're going to use some of that interview from yesterday with Brent Zimmerman,
right?
Saucy Brew. So Brian will give you your time, but it's approximately 5 or 6 minutes with a close.
So I'll need the information regarding the open and close. So
yeah, and he says he's got that for you.
Oh, okay, good.
So he'll send that to. Oh, there's Riri.
Hi.
Hi, Riri.
Yeah. It's just a question of me clicking and moving this over to my second screen, so I'm good.
Paul and I were just saying that doing it all mornings requires a little more.
Yeah.
Just a little more adjusting.
A lot more.
I'm sorry.
No, a lot more. Yeah, a lot more.
Definitely
No,
a lot more.
Yeah, I just click it right before news, and then rather than just staying on it all the time.
Okay, good. All right. Well, I'll let you two chat.
And the perfect way to feel comfortable and look sharp. Don't miss your chance to save big on these top styles for the season with the sale happening right now at Untuckit.com. Untuck It, shirts designed to be worn untucked.
Looking around your law firm, it's hard not to be proud of what you've created. A respected brand with 20 associates who give their all every day. You have what it takes to go big. Everything except a plan. How will you expand your footprint or increase revenue? Lexicon makes it possible. Lexicon is a legal services and technology provider with over a decade of experience helping law firms scale and grow while maximizing billable hours and maintaining client satisfaction. Call 855-4-LEXICON or visit lexiconservices.com/grow to learn more.
This is a special post-State of the State Address edition of Paul W. Smith on News Talk 760 WJR. This morning, Paul is sponsored by UHY Certified Public Accountants and Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan. Now, with conversation and analysis of last night's address by Governor Gretchen Whitmer, here's Paul.
Good Thursday morning to you, or as Ann likes to say, Friday's Eve, January 28th, the 28th day, obviously, of 2021. 337 days left in the year. Make each and every day count. Each day is a gift. 19 degrees right now. Wasn't the sun yesterday just glorious, Marie? The sun makes everything better.
Everybody was commenting about that and how it just really lifts your spirits.
It does. We can put up with a lot if there's some sun. We are talking about the governor, the State of the State address. I think most of us agreed it is what one would expect from a State of the State address. The budget questions will come later in her budget address. You've explained, and Joe Babe Bellino has explained that all the money she was talking about throwing around is money that we haven't spent yet, that we had gotten from, among other things, the federal government for the pandemic. So we're going to be spending that money, as well we should. That's what it's for. And so that's good news to have that answer. But she'll give us some other answers about other things. Did she cover everything she wanted? It was only a 24-minute speech. They usually go an hour. But as you pointed out, Riri, think of it, how much time was extracted from the presentation overall without the big entrance, all of the clapping, the standing, the let's not stand, all the show that usually goes with it, the theater, the theater that goes with it. So it was boiled down to about 23 minutes, which still left my 94-year-old mother in our evening call together said, I don't know, honey, it seemed awfully long to me. When Mother was a half an hour shorter than usual. But God bless her. She's been through many a State of the State address in her 94 years. Did you say, if I'm misremembering, which I do a lot lately, and then I have to explicate myself.
There you go.
That we talked about, that I learned from Sophie, that she uses in high school now all the time. It's explain, but it's a different word for explain. It's explicate. So, did you say you won't be watching the Super Bowl? You don't really care too much about the football game?
Yeah.
What about the commercials, at least, or the halftime show?
In the past, because of my job, I have had to tune in to watch the halftime show or a couple of commercials. But you know what? I know people think we're a freak show, but we just don't watch the Super Bowl. There was one sport that we watched growing up, and that was hockey. And we enjoyed that a lot. We followed the Red Wings, went to a lot of games when I was growing up and so forth. But football, no. Mm-mm.
Was your late son, John, a hockey player?
No. The boys were not sports. My daughter played a lot of volleyball and was good at it, and was good at softball and that kind of thing. But but not, no, just not really. Yeah. I'm just such a bore. I know.
No, you're not. Do you ice skate?
I did when I was younger.
Yeah, I haven't ice skated in a long time. I would be afraid to get on skates now.
Dangerous.
Yeah, it's like downhill skiing. I haven't done that in a while, and I don't think now's a good time to pick up on it. I think I'm going to start downhill skiing and ice skating again. Whatever. I was happy to see, and then I read the rest of the story. You may not have the same feeling, but for many of us, seeing the Clydesdales, the Budweiser Clydesdales, in those commercials, we look forward to every year in the Super Bowl, because they were always very special. They were heartwarming. They were special. Well, they're not doing big Budweiser ads like that. I think that the companies that have bowed out of the Super Bowl missed an opportunity to run some very good, creative, we're all in this together, we're going to get through it kinds of commercials. That's my opinion. But
yeah, an opportunity for imaging. General Motors, though, going to the Super Bowl, we had a story earlier today. They have announced that they're going to have 2 1-minute ads in the game. So GM taking advantage of the moment.
Yeah, and so is Stellantis and Olivier Francois Olivier. I love him because you can use his first and last name in either position. either as Francois Olivier or as Olivier Francois. Pretty good, huh?
Yes, very good.
Doesn't work with Smith Paul
No,
or Osborne Marie,
no.
but it does with his name. But I saw a headline in the Wall Street Journal yesterday: Clydesdales in Super Bowl ad after all.
Oh, so they will make an appearance.
But for Sam Adams beer. Talk
Oh,
about
wow.
hijacking something. I don't know.
Good move.
Well, it's a good move, but people might be upset. But I don't know. People probably won't be upset. They'll just be happy to see the Clydesdales. But what a move from Sam Adams beer. They are hijacking Budweiser's Clydesdales in an ad campaign in an attempt to steal some attention during the publicity blitz that typically surrounds the Super Bowl. And the commercial won't be visible to everyone because you can buy regional areas for a lot less than the $5.5 million for a 30-second national commercial. So I'm not even sure we'll even get to see that one. I have a feeling that they're only going to pay for it. Well, it says they're only going to pay for it in New York and Boston. So
Clever though, right?
Yeah.
Clever move.
Very clever. Can you imagine that meeting at the advertising agency or maybe at the beer itself? And somebody said, yeah, Budweiser's dropping out. And somebody else said, let's use the Clydesdale.
Yes. Yeah. Very, very smart move on their part. And we're talking about it, right?
Yep. That's all they need. They're getting more than their money's worth. Speaking of getting our money's worth, we get it with our help from our WJR Business Beat, Jeff Sloan, founder and CEO of Startup Nation, spotlighting the entrepreneurial tech and startup community right here on WJR. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Paul. How do you take an old school business that's been in the family for over 100 years and turn it into a retail juggernaut growing at breakneck speed to the tune of tens of millions of dollars in sales? Well, we've got a story of a visionary entrepreneur leading a business right in our region that's doing just that. The business is Blake's Apple Orchard, and the visionary is Andrew Blake, a third-generation family member who came up with an idea to grow their family's You-Pick apple orchard by creating a product to sell at retail. The product is Blake's Hard Cider, and it's a winner. We recently featured Andrew on Startup Nation, and he told us his story. Andrew, how did you make this happen?
I grew up on one of the farms. I was very close to the family business. It had grown to a certain point of, I think we were at about 500 employees seasonally. And we had been perfecting our sweet cider apple blend for 70 years. So I did what any expert does, is I get on YouTube and start learning how to make hard cider in my garage at college, because I wanted to be able to prove out the idea to see if this stuff would even taste good, if, people would be interested in it. And presented to my dad and uncle this idea of a hard cider company.
And your dad and your uncle embraced your vision, Andrew, and you guys went after this full bore. And now your product is available at most major grocery chains in our area and expanding rapidly nationally. Tell us how your vision and the execution of it has contributed to your company's overall success.
We're at the point now where we're an extremely sought after brand within the industry. We're the fastest growing hard cider company in the country and one of the fastest growing alcohol companies in the country. This year, we employed just over 900 people seasonally and probably 250 or so full time.
It's such an amazing thing when an entrepreneur's idea and vision becomes such a powerful and positive reality. Congratulations, Andrew Blake. You are an inspiration. I'm Jeff Sloan, founder and CEO of StartupNation.com, and that's today's Business Beat on the great voice of the Great Lakes, WJR.
This report is sponsored by Lord & Taylor. Lord & Taylor is closing forever. Don't miss your last chance to shop this iconic brand. Now save 75 to 90% throughout the store. Save up to 80% in their fur gallery, rug gallery, and fine jewelry department. Don't miss your final chance to shop Lord & Taylor before they close forever.
Now's a good time to do it. Let's check it. Our WJR Traffic and Weather first, Dana Clark.
Still nice and quiet out there, Paul W. In Detroit to Woodward southbound at Warren, 2 lanes are closed. Those right 2 lanes are shut down until 8 a.m. today. Well, actually, that will be wrapping up in about 45 minutes. Once again, Woodward southbound at Warren scheduled to reopen those right two lanes at 8. Now, WJR Weather first from the Weather Channel, sponsored by the National Electrical Contractors Association, NECA. Put the expertise and skill of NECA signatory contractors to work on your commercial, public, industrial, residential construction project. NECA contractors like the Talbert Corporation are powering Michigan's future project after project on budget. Learn more at smcnica.org.
Cold run and a dry run here, maybe a little snow by the end of the weekend. Dominated with a pretty cold start, a chilly finish at 25 for a high, down near 12 above tonight.
Good morning, Jacob. Oh, we can't hear you.
Jacob
You're
Katz.
muted. Let's fix that.
There you go,
There we
Jacob.
are,
Now
sir.
you're unmuted. How are
Good
you,
morning.
man? Good morning. Nice to see you. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
And we always thank you for your support. And I, Tony Frabata is a longtime old friend going way back to the JP days. And Tony always kept saying, come on over to UHY. And I said, all right, I'll do that. In the last few years, Keith Moore and especially Jonathan Shoemaker from your firm have been helping me with tax questions and doing my taxes, which is a horrifying thing.
It oftentimes is.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that both John and Keith have been able to help you.
Yeah, they're good guys. They're good guys. Is Tony coming in anymore, or is he?
Oh, sure. I absolutely see him kicking around from time to time. He certainly is enjoying some of the fruits of his many years of hard work, but he's definitely still in the office, meeting with clients, and out in the market in general.
Good. He's an all-round a good guy. And
Absolutely.
I think we're all set for what we're going to be doing, talking about the changes in the tax code and the Biden administration and what we can expect. I can't help but think that a lot of people, with the things that he's been doing away with, that a lot of people are going to see their tax picture changed. And it's not going to be just people making, quote, over $400,000 a year, which is what we were told repeatedly, that, if you make over $400,000, you're going to see that you're taxed more. I can't help but think that there are going to be other ways with other programs and plans that have been changed that we are going to be paying more in taxes if we don't make $400,000 a year, if we make substantially less. And frankly, we're going to see gas prices go up, which is a tax, if you will. We're going to see a lot of different things, but
I think we are expecting to see a lot of changes. We sort of knew this back at the end of last year, and that became even more clear on January 6th with what happened in Georgia. So we are expecting to see a lot of changes, and we do expect that these changes are going to affect every single person, from those who make quite a bit of money down to those people who work, just trying to get food on the table.
More own.
Yeah. We'll go over all this again when we're on the full air here.
Online at Golling.com. Welcome back to more post State of the State address coverage with Paul W. Smith on WJR. Sponsored by UHY Certified Public Accountants and Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan. Once again, Paul W. Smith.
All righty. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer. And to Brian, no, I did not see your last message until too late after traffic and weather, but we'll get to that commercial that you need me to do coming up. See, everything is out in the open here when we have the open camera for the whole show, and there's no way for me to actually talk back and forth to Brian except via his message board. But meanwhile, the gentleman joining us now is a Detroit leader of the UHY Valuations Group. UHY is a great company. I mentioned Tony Frabata, longtime friend of the program way back to the JP days. And now helping me with my tax information, Keith Moore, and especially Jonathan Shoemaker. These are guys that work very, very hard, as Jacob Katz works very hard and is very well aware of Keith and Jonathan and the whole team there at UHY. Jacob, welcome to the Paul W. Smith Show at WJR.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
It is our pleasure. We're all looking at changes. We have a new administration, a whole different philosophy And let's face it, there's changes in the tax code under the Biden administration. And it's my feeling that, given everything I've heard so far, that it won't just be people making $400,000 or more that are going to see kind of a tax increase. What's your professional thought?
That's absolutely correct, Paul. We do expect there to be changes in the income tax code, especially with what happened on January 6th in Georgia and ostensibly control the Senate moving over to the Democrats. But the tax changes that we expect, the low-hanging fruit that we expect the administration to go after, is more centered on the estate and gift side, which is going to affect many of our business owners and as well as their employees. For instance, you had a piece about Blake's Cider. Here was a company that was very, very small at one point and now is very large. And that's the type of tax code that's going to affect them dramatically and what they plan to do in the future, and therefore affects everybody down the line.
Everybody. And I contend that if you make $50,000 a year, you're going to see it or feel it. And frankly, there are other taxes out there that we don't necessarily automatically think of taxes, but they truly are the way they affect our ability to spend or save any money. And that is that there's inevitable that the gas prices are going to go up. We aren't going to be producing. We aren't going to be as energy efficient and not be able to stand on our own once we stop drilling and getting natural resources in certain areas that we've kind of gotten used to, which has helped keep the prices down. So those prices are going to go up. So this is not a thing that, you might have said, well, it's going to affect Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and all these billionaires. No, it's going to affect all of us. And when do you think these changes will go into effect?
Sure. Well, there's a bit of a political question there. Obviously, we do expect that we can bracket it to some degree. So, for instance, we don't expect it to occur before the impeachment debate is over. On the other hand, the Biden administration has about a 2-year period of time, and frankly, a lot less than that, in order to enact some of their larger pieces of legislation. And their tax piece is one of those. They're going to face ardent opposition by the Republicans in the Senate as well as in the House. And so they're going to likely want to spend that political capital that they have sometime in 2021 and begin proposing tax law changes. And again, these aren't just legislative changes. There are certain things, as we've seen from the Biden administration, as we saw from the Trump administration, that can be changed with just a piece of pen on a piece of paper. So there are also changes that you've alluded to that could affect a number of tax laws without having to ever go through Congress.
Wow. It just means it's going to be a bit more confusing, and we really need to, like I do, depend on the professionals. I would never pretend to be able to, in this day and age, do my own taxes. I need help, and you guys at UHY help, and I appreciate that. If we focus on this great state of ours, on Michigan, how does what happens in Washington, D.C. affect things here directly?
Sure. Well, as we saw from the State of the State address yesterday evening, Governor Whitmer has substantial plans on what to do for the budget and, more importantly, for the COVID response. Republicans have countered with their own plan that is somewhat approximately $2 billion less. But that money isn't conjured out of thin air. A lot of that money is coming from Washington, D.C. Right now, as a country, we are spending a lot of money, which is appropriate when we're facing a pandemic. And again, that money itself doesn't get conjured out of air, even though in the short term, sometimes it seems like it does. What this means is that this bill is coming due for the country, and with the Biden administration in place, we expect to see substantial changes in the income tax, but also in the estate and gift, because a lot of people don't focus their attention on that side of things. And so that affects Michigan because every business that supports the automotive industry and manufacturing and all of those businesses, many of them are family owned or they've been family owned, and that will have a direct impact on all of those. So what we see right now is for the business areas, the clock is ticking, and now is the time to start doing that planning before the legislation gets changed and the planning is no longer viable.
Jacob Katz, director, Detroit leader of the UHY Valuations Group. You said that bill is coming due. You know, I'm starting to think it's not ever coming due, because we used to talk about this all the time. We used to talk about the national debt, and now we're throwing around $2 trillion here and $2 trillion there, figures we never threw around that are only adding to that.
Let me throw an even bigger number at you, 68 trillion. That's approximately how much wealth we expect to transfer in the next anywhere from 5 to 15 years as baby boomers and previous generations, even prior to baby boomers, transfer their wealth, their businesses, and their hard work to the next generation. Whether that is millennials or older than them, we're talking about 68 trillion of wealth being transferred.
Wow.
Just to put things in context.
And by the way, would I be wrong in saying that it might behoove people of any means, but people of means in general, to check and see what they should do now before new laws go into effect that keep them from taking advantage of certain rules, regulations that are in effect now that we know are going to go away?
Absolutely. That clock is ticking, and it's been ticking for a while. We were extremely busy, as I'm sure other firms in our industry were busy at the end of last year. But January 6th was an interesting moment where we knew that certain things that the Senate might have been able to stop, they will not be able to as easily stop. So we have a window. It's unlikely that the administration and Congress would pass a law that would go retroactive back to January 1st. But the day that they pass new legislation, that's when those opportunities to take those actions will no longer be there. And we're talking about losing, for a family or even for a single person, $5 to $6 million in credits that if they don't use them now, they're likely to lose them forever.
Wow. Important information, Jacob. Thank you for that. Jacob Katz, UHY Valuations Group. Give my best, please, to our other friends there, Tony Frabata, and the guys helping me now, Keith Moore and Jonathan Shoemaker. It's 7:27. You can find Jonathan in his office.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Jacob, as we continue on
It was a pleasure.
WJR. My pleasure. Thank you.
This report is sponsored by the Exergen Temporal Scanner. Fever is the leading sign of COVID-19. Use an accurate thermometer for twice daily checks. Protect your loved ones with the Exergen Temporal Scanner. It takes an accurate reading in seconds and is the only home thermometer recommended by hospitals, physicians, and clinics. Stay safe with Exergen.
Sandy Barua, just coming up after the news at 7:30 from Detroit Regional Chamber, the president and CEO, his take on the governor's State of the State address last night and just the general state of business in our great state. Boy, I've used as many states there in that sentence as I possibly could. Let's get the state of the traffic situation as well as the weather. Our WJR Traffic and Weather first, and Dana Clark.
Well, the state of the traffic is good. The state of the weather is quite cold and crispy, especially today on into this evening. Let's start with the roadway, 75 northbound. Just looking at construction between Springwells and Clark. That right lane is closed, scheduled through February 22nd. Now, WJR Weather first from the Weather Channel, sponsored by the Cremation Society of Michigan. For over 33 years, the Cremation Society of Michigan has been providing dignified cremation services without the cost of traditional funerals. For cremation information, contact the Cremation Society of Michigan at 1-800-241-3131 or visit cremationmichigan.com. Expecting it to be the coldest day of the week today. Snow showers this morning, partly cloudy later. We are feeling like it's in the teens as far as the wind chill is concerned. We'll get a high of 23 today. Currently cloudy, just 16 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, your low 13. At least on Friday to kick off the weekend, we get the sunshine back. Mainly sunny on Friday and a high of 27. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Marie Osborne in about 1 minute.
We've been waiting for COVID-19 vaccines to be developed. Now, waiting for them to get to us. But you can do more than wait. You have powerful ways to help slow the spread right now and protect your family and loved ones too. Here's how. Watch your distance. Stay at least 6 feet away from folks you don't live with. It's risky to be indoors with them too. And of course, avoid crowds. Also, wear a mask. CDC reports masks protect the people who wear them and folks around them. And wash your hands using soap and water for 20 seconds.
and do it frequently. Vaccines won't make COVID go away overnight, but they give us a real chance to finally overcome it. As long as we keep watching our distance, wearing our masks, and washing our hands.
Learn more about vaccines at cdc.gov/coronavirus. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
WJR News Time, 7:30. Governor Whitmer looking ahead in her State of the State address.
This year, I will launch the Fixing the Damn Road Ahead tour to engage with and listen to Michiganders, young and old, Republicans, Democrats, and independents, from Lake Superior to Lake Michigan to Lake Huron to Lake Erie and everywhere in between, to focus on what unites us, improve how we talk to each other, and together we'll fix the damn road ahead.
In her third State of the State address, Whitmer acknowledged the battle against the virus continues with an eye on stepping up vaccine distribution. The governor also called on the Michigan legislature to take action on jobs for the state. She congratulated vaccine maker Pfizer in Kalamazoo, creating 450 jobs amid the pandemic. And the fracture between the state legislature and the governor's office more apparent as Republican state legislators tie the release of the governor's epidemic powers to the release of billions in funding for Michigan schools. The House Republicans releasing a new COVID-19 response plan, and it came before the governor delivered her State of the State address. Michigan House.
Good morning, Sandy.
Morning. How are you?
Very good. Thank you. Just wanted to do a quick mic check with you. Sounds like you sound good.
Okay, good enough.
You are coming up after the news.
Sounds good. Thank you.
The federal government
Hi, Sandy.
issuing a domestic
Paul
terror
W.
bulletin on
How are
Wednesday.
you? How's Lisa?
She's great.
Good.
She's really great.
Excellent. So we're just going to talk a little bit about the state of the state, and for that matter, the state of the state business-wise and otherwise, and how things are going, how you guys and your members and everybody are holding up through the pandemic as it continues. We thought 2021 was going to be, we were looking so forward to 2021, and it really didn't start. It didn't start off the way we kind of hoped it would.
Yeah, and this summer we get the cicadas.
Yeah, after 17 years, those bastards are back.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. We had them when we were in Washington, 17 years ago, and boy, those things were big.
They're noisy. They're a noisy bunch.
Yeah, I think I saw one fly off with a small child.
That's funny. Everything else is good. You need anything?
No, but thank you for asking. We are good. We've been home. We went to Hawaii in November, but we're canceling our March travel just because March looks like to be a bad time right now. So we're home. We haven't left.
Very impressed that you went to Hawaii. That's like one of the most difficult places to go because they tell you for the first 14 days you can't set foot out of your hotel room.
Well, there are hoops you have to jump through, and we were there the second day after they had opened up the state. So it was weird. It was really weird.
I bet.
Yeah. What wasn't our best trip to Hawaii by far, but talk about
really.
Yeah.
Delta is Delta doing those nonstops, those direct nonstops now, or I know that it's seasonal, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think it was not running when we flew.
It was not.
It was not. No.
Okay. All right.
Kim's good.
24-hour nurse line.
And the blue.
She is good. She is luckily in a sunnier, warmer place. It is not now 18 degrees. It's not 18 degrees where she is, but it's 18 degrees where we are.
Yes, it is.
I should probably just check to see what she has. We've got 18 degrees. She has 70 degrees right now. So there is a little bit of a disparity between temperatures.
You could almost reverse the numbers.
Yeah, oftentimes we do. I'm going to ask you. Well, I'm not going to ask you now because we're coming back on, and I want to. It's too confusing to remember what was on air, what was off air. I mean, we're on air right now online for people watching us on our WJR Facebook page or WJR.com. But for people listening in at 760 on the AM dial, they can't hear the conversation. So I don't want to repeat ourselves, but we will. We have questions to ask.
US.com.
All right,
To
ready
protect
to go.
that state for the next generation. UHY certified public accountants. The next level of service.
Welcome back to more post State of the State address coverage with Paul W. Smith on WJR. Sponsored by UHY certified public accountants and Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan. Once again, Paul W. Smith.
And we thank those sponsors very, very much for being able to bring you special broadcasting, special programming devoted not just to, but in a very big way, to the governor's State of the State address last night. And as it occurs to me, radio is about like the last thing that comes to you absolutely free like this. And has, and I presume, hope, always will. Always great to have great guests on the show, and that includes our friend Sandy Barua. Sandy is the president and CEO of the Detroit Regional Chamber. He is a straight shooter. He comes to us via his time in government in Washington, D.C., in the Bush administration and others. And it's always a pleasure to welcome him to the program. Sandy, good morning.
Paul W., awesome to be with you this morning, and I love the fact that I get to see you as opposed to just talk to you this morning. I love it.
Well, I'm glad that you love that. So we do this from time to time. We're happy to do that and happy to be here and to be seen rather than being viewed, for example.
Yeah, let's avoid being viewed for a while.
Yeah, that's my hope.
So, I mean, that day is coming, right?
No, it isn't.
Okay.
So your take as long as you'd like on the governor's State of the State last night.
Well, first of all, as someone who does a lot of public speaking, as you do, Paul W., you have to give her tremendous cred for speaking into a camera on a keynote address and delivering it flawlessly. I mean, she looked great. She sounded great. Her delivery
smiled the whole time.
She did. And, I tell you, I mean, again, as someone who's used to doing a lot of public speaking, it is really hard to do it without an audience. Without a live audience, it is really hard. So I give her a lot of credit for that. I give her a lot of credit for staying optimistic, right? I mean, there are obviously a lot of reasons for not being quite optimistic. Obviously, we still have a heck of an economic challenge that has impacted so many corners of our state. We obviously have a really severe public health emergency that is ongoing. I mean, I remember we thought this was going to be a few weeks or a month or two, but boy, we're going to be into this for a year and a half. Obviously, the kind of the personal relationships in Lansing are not as good as I think we'd all hope them to be. But she kind of put all that aside and she said, "Listen, here's an agenda forward that I like." And there were things in there certainly that the business community could certainly rally behind. I mean, we really like the idea of the local option for revenue generation for infrastructure. That's an idea that our organization, particularly Brad Williams of our team, was one of the leaders in creating and pushing early on. So we're really happy to see that. We're really happy to see let's double down on needles and arms. 50,000 per day in Michigan. We got to get needles and arms, because if we don't get needles and arms, we're not going to be able to recover our economy. We're not going to get out of this public health crisis. So that's good. And so there are other things that we liked about it.
So can you, as the president, I mean, you referred to this, the kindest way would be to say strained relationship in Lansing between the governor's office and the legislature. Would you, as president, Sandy Barua, of president and CEO of the Detroit Regional Chamber, in any way, shape, or form be an intermediary, to be in the middle, to try to help bring these two sides together that just don't seem to get together?
Well, listen, at the end of the day, the responsibility relies with our elected officials in Lansing. And what I will say is that, I know a lot of these folks, right?
Right.
Don't know them all really well, but I know them all. And, 99 times out of 100, they are, and you called me a straight shooter, Paul W. I'm going to say the same thing about them. I mean, I look at, I don't know new Speaker Wentworth very well, but outgoing Speaker Lee Chatfield, real straight shooter, and Lee had a really good relationship with the governor. I'd say the same thing about Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey. He's a great gentleman. He is fact-based. I have a great relationship with him, but he and the governor clearly don't get along. Now, I don't know what the reason for that is, right? You'd have to ask Gretchen, you'd have to ask Mike about that. Obviously that is an issue the business community has been paying attention to. I mean, it is no secret amongst the business leaders across the state that our top elected officials don't get along as well as we would hope them to be. Do I think that there is a particular side in that battle that, it's all the blame is there and all the blame is on that side? Absolutely, I do not. I mean, when relationships don't work, it usually takes two to make that happen.
Then let me ask you, Sandy, since both are coming up, Senator Mike Shirkey at 7:48, Governor Gretchen Whitmer at 8:18. Because I respect you so much and because of your political experience, before taking over the chamber, which you try to be non-political about all this. But if there was one question you'd ask of Mike Shirkey, tell me what that might be and I'll ask it.
Well, I tell you what, I can pick up the phone and call Mike, and actually I'm chatting with him as we speak right now, Paul. Mike Shirkey and I are chatting using the chat function. We're saying good morning to each other. We're wishing each other well. So listen, what I would say to Mike, and I'm going to say it in public, obviously, because I'm saying it on the air, is thank you for your public service. I mean, right now is probably the most difficult time to serve in government, in elected office, and anyone who steps up and does that, has my admiration. I've obviously worked for elected officials for most of my career, so I really respect that. And at the end of the day, let's do what's right for Michigan, and I think both Gretchen and Mike are going to do that.
Mike, I've just been informed by Annie that Mike is backstage in our StreamYards situation. So it's nice to know that he is hearing everything that we're talking about at this point. What would you say to Governor Gretchen Whitmer?
Well, first, I'd say some of the same things, right? Thank you for her public service. I think she has been, at least publicly gracious in her actions. And I would say that, listen, I know a lot of our friends and a lot of our viewers have a lot of concern with some of the actions that she's taken over the last 9 months, and I certainly share some of those. I am not the governor of the state, right? She's the chief executive, and she's made some decisions that I certainly don't like. But I will say this about Gretchen Whitmer. You may disagree with her, but she has the best interests of the people in heart at all times. I mean, those of us who come from more of a business background, would have made different decisions regarding, how we handle business restrictions. But, the first role of government is to keep people safe. Right? Either that's using our military or protecting us from public health challenges. And I would say I would give Gretchen Whitmer exceptionally strong marks for keeping people safe. We may not agree with how she did it all of the time, but when you look at where Michigan is on some of these stats, Michigan is looking really well. Right after Thanksgiving, when the rest of the country went haywire with the virus, we actually went down. Controversial decision because she enacted what she called the pause. We weren't a big fan of that. We kind of spoke out against some of those restrictions that was part of the pause, but it worked in terms of driving down the level of infections in Michigan, unlike the rest of the country. So I got to give her credit for some of those decisions that I may have disagreed with at the time.
All right, we've got to run. We appreciate your input always. Sandy K. Barua, Detroit Regional Chamber CEO and President. Hi to Lisa, and have a great rest of the day. We miss those little dinners from time to time that you would have, and we'd come as often as we could, which wasn't often enough. But here's hoping we can all get back to that kind of socialization again in the distant future.
Yeah, Lisa and I are still having dinner at your house. When you and Kim leave, we just go in the backyard in the pool house. So we're still at your place all the time.
Okay.
All right. Love to you and Kim. Take care.
All right. Take care, Sandy, as we continue at 7:45 on WJR.
This report is sponsored by Lord & Taylor. Lord & Taylor is closing forever. Don't miss your last chance to shop this iconic brand. Now save 75 to 90% throughout the store. Save up to 80% in their fur gallery, rug gallery, and fine jewelry department. Don't miss your final chance to shop Lord & Taylor before they close forever.
All righty. Open for business, our WJR traffic and weather first, and Dana Clark.
First accident of the morning along M14 eastbound, 23 northbound. That collision just reported. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Shelving.com. Shelving.com has durable storage products for your business, from trusted Metro brand wire and plastic shelving to Unirack pallet racking. They also offer high-density storage and gravity flow racks to help optimize space. Order now at Shelving.com. That's Shelving.com. We rack your world.
A little bit better looking day today. Lots of sunshine around with a few clouds at times. Cold start and chilly finish up to about 25. Tonight, similar to earlier this morning, about 12 above, a few clouds around single-digit suburbs. Sunshine tomorrow with highs near 30 degrees and maybe a little snow by the end of the weekend. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stagicon, News Talk 760 WJR.
All righty, Ray, we're looking at 18 degrees. Yep, baby, it's cold outside, just as you might expect for the end of January. 7:46, just ahead of Senator Mike Shirkey, our Senate Majority Leader, and his thoughts on the State of the State address last night. I can't tell you how many times I've been watching sports and wanted to bet the game on my phone. Well, guess what? Now we can, because FanDuel Sportsbook is officially live in Michigan. And to celebrate, they're kicking things off in a big way. FanDuel is giving new users their first bet risk-free. That's right. You'll get up to $1,000 back in site credit if you don't win. Seriously. So not only can you bet on all your favorite teams, but you'll get up to $1,000 back if you don't win your first bet. That's just one of the reasons why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook app. FanDuel Sportsbook, giving you the chance to get an even bigger win when you bet, for example, the Lakers versus Pistons game today. For every 313 fans who bet on the Pistons to cover the spread, FanDuel Sportsbook will move the line 1 point in the Pistons' favor. And there's no limit to how good this line can get. As long as enough fans keep betting, the line will keep on moving. And best of all, they're going to pay you out at whatever the line lands at by tip-off, so you don't have to wait to get in on the action. Now, this is how to play it. If you haven't yet signed up for FanDuel Sportsbook in Michigan, don't stay on the sidelines. Deposit and place your risk-free bet up to $1,000. Your first bet is risk-free. After you place your risk-free bet, then go bet on the spread, the love market, to place a bet up maximum $50 on the Pistons versus the Lakers. So there's lots you can do. There's a lot of fun, but you have to get in there, because guess what? When you win, FanDuel Sportsbook gets your winnings to you in as little as 24 hours, because it's the right thing to do. So download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Be sure to sign up with promo code PAUL so they know I sent you. It would be my honor, my privilege to be your promo code, Paul. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code Paul.
21 and older and present in Michigan. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help.
At Farm Bureau Insurance, we cover Michigan.
Good morning, Senator.
Good morning to you.
Senator.
Just checking to make sure your microphone is working. Things sound good. You're up next.
All right. Thank you.
Senator, nice to have you on board as always.
Paul W., it's delightful to talk with you and see your face and hear your conversation with my friend Sandy before.
It was nice to know you were sitting right there, a part of it. Backstage, as we like to say now, in these Zoom-type StreamYard conversations that have become the norm.
When will we be going live, do you think?
Well, we're live online, but we're not live on the radio until we hear the music, and I'll make it clear that we're coming back. It's confusing. I do it all the time, and it's confusing to me, so I don't want you to be confused. And I don't want to do the whole interview here because then a large percentage of our audience won't be able to get it. But you know the obvious. I'm just going to be asking your take on it and your reaction to some of the things that she said.
I think you're going to be surprised at my initial take, but we'll wait until you're alive.
Well, I hope not. I know you pretty well, and you're a very straight shooter. And every indication I've ever had, Mike, if I may call you Mike, and I guess I really don't usually, but you're an honest fellow who has the best interests of your constituents, of all of Michigan, in your heart and soul. Always has been.
Thank you.
You have legitimate differences of opinion on how to handle certain things. And I understand that. I appreciate that. But again, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds right here, right now. How's the family? Everybody okay?
Yeah, we've family's great. We have our immediate family is 24 of us, Sue and I and our kids and our grandkids, and we get together a lot. And we're blessed because they all live within 10 miles of us. So it's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
That's fabulous. 24 family members within 10 miles of each other.
Yep. Everybody's properly and fully engaged and employed, and we got kids from 3 to
1100. Go to paintfreelifecenters.com.
Do you feel it important to wear your mask the whole time right now?
No, I'm going to take it off when we go on. And I'm doing it for a reason.
With Paul W. Smith on WJR. Sponsored by UHY Certified Public Accountants and Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan. Once again, Paul W. Smith.
And thank you so much to those fine sponsors making this opportunity possible here on WJR, as is always the case, and that will continue throughout the day. We'll be reflecting on the governor's State of the State address with various notables. One of those notables is here with us. He is the Senate Majority Leader, Senator Mike Shirkey. And Senator, it is always a pleasure and a privilege.
Good morning, Paul. Now I'll take my mask off because it's more important and more effective for us to communicate when we can see each other's faces.
Yes, indeed. I've thought that for a long time. People can't tell if you're smiling, frowning, or whatever you're doing. And we've learned just how important facial expression is and face-to-face communication is if we ever took it for granted. So I appreciate, too, you making the point of showing us that you do wear a mask. That is, and it's the American flag, the patriotic thing to do. It is not political. As Dr. Freud told me once when I interviewed him, sometimes a mask is just a mask. So meanwhile, tell me your take on the governor's State of the State address, which you said off air before we got on our general air. I might be surprised at your take. I bet I'm not going to be, but go ahead.
You might be, but you got to let me finish the statement. The most important thing about last night's address was not something the governor said. It was something she did. And what she did is deliver the message without a mask on. Now, that's not to say that I don't think masks are important. They don't serve a purpose. They're vital, especially around vulnerable folks. But by wearing a mask, especially in press conferences, it sends, our world, because we're humans, images and gestures make a difference, and they send messages. And I believe her taking her mask off and talking to us direct last night was the most important thing she did. Not because we're going to get rid of masks, we're not going to, but because I think it could be a step in the direction of moving from, control and fear to hope and opportunity and trust. And I'm all in for that. And she looked delightful. She, just like Sandy said, she delivered her message well. And there's plenty of in her message that we actually can identify and agree that is the problem or that is the opportunity. But what we have to do now is talk to each other so that we can resolve how to address that problem or how to exploit that opportunity. And that conversation has not been very effective and very efficient in the last 10 to 12 months. There are things that she mentioned last night that I believe we can We can agree on the problem, the definition of the problem, and then we can talk about differences of opinion and how to solve the problem. And that's a great place to start. But I really think the most important thing from last night is not what she said, but she delivered the message without a mask. And I'm hoping that's the beginning of us moving out of, doesn't mean COVID goes away. It doesn't mean that it's still not insidious. Doesn't mean that it's still not dangerous to people, but moving out of the fear into opportunity and hope and trust, I think will make a far quicker and better progress.
I should never doubt you, Senator Mike Shirkey, because you're absolutely right. This isn't at all what I thought you were going to say. I didn't realize that that would be so impactful on you and take on the significance that it did. I don't know if that's what she was thinking or not. Much the same way I said, are you going to take your mask off for the conversation? Because it's easier to understand you. You're alone, I presume, and you're not at risk of infecting anyone or being infected. And besides, you carry the antibodies now anyway.
I do.
her line, and by the way, I appreciate you letting me know that when you had it. And I didn't tell anyone. You asked me to keep that close to the vest. I kept it close to the vest. You then came out and told the world that you and your family members had tested positive. She said, my mission is to find common ground so we can emerge from this crisis stronger than ever. She always kind of makes it sound like she's always been willing to talk with the legislature, and the legislature apparently hasn't been willing to work with her. What's your take on that?
I would say that 90% of the decisions that have been made over the last 10, 12 months, specifically regarding this insidious virus, have had little or no input from the legislature. And, that's all we've been asking for, is an opportunity to engage in the conversation, define the problem, define the opportunity, offer solutions and offer suggestions, resolve them, hopefully improving upon each other's ideas, and then moving forward. And sometimes we will actually disagree, but that's what's been missing. And if the governor denies that, then that's kind of a problem, because you can ask just about anybody that's serving in the legislature, and they'll affirm what I just said, is that there's just not been an openness to talk about the problem. And but I'm hoping that last night was a sincere gesture, and I'm all ready to roll my sleeves up and all in.
All right, I'm going to tell her that, because she's coming up after the 8 o'clock news. You're willing to roll up your sleeves. You are all in. You just want the opportunity to weigh in on decisions going forward.
Paul W., do we have a minute? Just a couple of seconds?
Yeah, let's cut the traffic music for a moment. Go ahead.
I want to say something about the interpretation of some of the moves that we made yesterday, like the declining some of the appointments. People are painting that as a political gesture, and the fact of the matter is, it was a purposeful political gesture, but not to score points, but to make a point and say, Governor, we're over here. We want to be involved in this process. And hopefully it's interpreted that way. It was a purposeful political gesture, but not to score points, but to make a point.
It sounds to me like you're saying, hey, we'll do whatever we have to do to get your attention, Governor. And if this is what it takes, we're going to do this to get your attention.
We'll do whatever we have to do that's within the Constitution. And the Constitution provides those kinds of actions. So I wanted to make sure that your listeners heard that, because they need to understand the full spectrum of what's going on. We don't just sit around trying to think about how we can poke somebody. We're trying to solve. Government should only do one of two things: solve problems or exploit opportunities. Nothing else.
Always a pleasure, Senator. We do appreciate the straightforwardness of Senator Mike Shirkey, the Senate Majority Leader, and we'll bring some of that message to the governor. Can you pick up the phone and say that to the governor?
Absolutely, I can. Sure.
Will you?
Yes, I promise I will.
Okay, because we would like you guys to get along.
Remember, Remember, to dance or to communicate, it takes two.
Correct.
You and I don't look too good dancing alone. We need to have a partner.
And I'd rather the partner not be you, Mike. But I'm just saying, not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah. I got it.
I'll see you later, Senator.
Have a great day, sir. Yep, bye-bye.
You do the same. 8 o'clock at WJR Detroit.
This report is sponsored by Lord & Taylor. Lord & Taylor is closing forever. Don't miss your last chance to shop this iconic brand. Now save 75 to 90% throughout the store. Save up to 80% in their fur gallery, rug gallery, and fine jewelry department. Don't miss your final chance to shop Lord & Taylor before they close forever.
Coming up at 8:18, about there, Governor Gretchen Whitmer following her State of the State address here on the Paul W. Smith Show. We check our WJR traffic and weather first, and Dana Clark.
Right now, 2 accidents, 275 northbound at Ford Road. A wreck is blocking your right 2 lanes. Traffic getting by in that left lane only. M14 eastbound after US 23 northbound accident has moved to the right shoulder. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. It's going to be cold all day today. Currently 16 degrees, going up to 23. Tonight's low 13. I'm Dana Clark. WJR News with Marie Osborne is next.
With the recent shift in administration in Washington, there are many reports about estate tax laws that are likely to change. When it comes to estate and gift planning, the conceivable changes could be far-reaching. It is critical that high net worth individuals, particularly those with business assets, understand the proposed estate changes in the new administration's tax plan. UHY has created an easy-to-follow likelihood assessment of what could be passed in 2021. Contact any of UHY's Michigan offices to get a copy. There are options you may want to exercise now that could very well be gone soon. Reach out to your trusted UHY advisor to start the process. Their commitment is to minimize taxes and preserve family wealth. To learn more, email greatlakes@uhy-us.com. Again, that's greatlakes@uhy-us.com to protect your estate for the next generation. UHY Certified Public Accountants, the next level of service.
WJR Detroit and WDVD HD2 Detroit. 760 WJR, where Detroit comes to talk.
In her State of the State address, Governor Whitmer said frontline workers who received a pay increase during the COVID crisis, well, she says she wants that increase to be permanent.
We owe a special thank you to frontline healthcare workers, including direct care workers who provide nursing and healthcare for seniors and Michiganders with disabilities. We gave these heroes $2 an hour increase. I worked with the legislature to extend it for months and then for a few more months. Now it's time to make that pay raise permanent.
The governor also touting Michigan's 6th in the nation status for vaccination distribution with more progress ahead, she says. Michigan teachers and school staff who have worked during the pandemic will be getting hazard pay by the 25th of February, $500 for the teachers, $250 for staff who had met the December deadline for submitting eligibility forms. The Biden administration looks to expand the supply of coronavirus vaccine.
Amid growing complaints about vaccine shortages, the Biden administration this week announcing that states would see a 16% boost in doses next week. But for some, that won't be enough. President Biden going further to announce a purchase of 200 million more doses of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, all in order to vaccinate 300 million Americans by this summer. At one point, even suggesting that his vaccination goal could rise to 1.5 million shots a day.
Fox's Aisha Hasni, President Biden previously set a goal of 1 million Americans vaccinated a day, a pace nearly achieved upon the start of his term. The Department of Homeland Security has issued a threat bulletin due to the ongoing potential for violence in the wake of the presidential inauguration, including concerns that domestic extremists may attack the Capitol again. Acting DHS Secretary David Pekoski issuing the National Terrorism Advisory System bulletin due to heightened threat environment across the United States. Trade and
Doing okay, Deb?
I am indeed.
Riri's going to pop back in here at 8:05.
Okay.
And then the Gov is going to be on the phone.
Oh, she's not doing the
StreamYard, no.
StreamYard.
Mm-mm.
She's still 8:18.
Yep. And then We have our pulmonologist at 8:35.
I'm not sure where that fits in, where that comes in for what we're doing, but I'll try to
Well,
make it make sense.
Yeah, we should because we get, it's good to talk about other things too,
Right. Yeah.
Good to have different
We
subjects.
should talk to the guys who make the opens and promos should talk to us, frankly, so they know exactly what we're going to do. Because each time that open comes in, it makes it sound like we're supposed to be doing at the moment a quickly in-depth take on everything that's going on. And we have so much other stuff to talk about besides the state of the
It's
state.
pretty good. It's very in-depth this morning, though. So far, that 7 o'clock hour was really fascinating. I thought Sandy Baruja and Mike Shirkey, those were
Oh, they were excellent, certainly.
a lot of great analysis there, the way they
Yeah.
were looking at that. So it's all good. All's well.
Good.
Riri should be popping in here in a minute.
Okay. Thank you.
Finishing up. For WJR News, I'm Marie Osborne. We'll have more with Paul W. in a moment.
Paid for by Asset Marketing Services, LLC. 2021 marks the 35th anniversary of the American Eagle Coin Program, and these historic silver coins will never be the same again. Why?
The U.S. Mint has unveiled new designs for the 2021 American Silver Eagle coins, scheduled to appear mid-year.
This means now is your last chance to get an American Silver Eagle coin with the original Eagle design.
The American Eagle coin series has become the best-selling coin series in the world.
Act fast or miss your opportunity to own the last year of this historic Silver Eagle coin design.
Just call govmint.com at 1-800-973-3097 and you're guaranteed a shiny, new, perfect mint condition American Eagle silver dollar.
Get them now before time runs out.
Call 1-800-973-3097 now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, free with every order.
This exclusive offer is only available by phone. Call 1-800-973-3097 now to secure your American Eagle silver dollar coins before the current design ceases production. That's 1-800-973-3097.
Do Michelle's Thursday and Friday, January 28 and 29 auctions featured the continuation of Michigan Senator Jack Faxon's collection and many other prominent estates. Preview fine and decorative art in person or via the video at auctiondetroit.com. Exceptional paintings, sculptures, furniture, rugs, stained glass, windows, African tribal art, and more. Visit auctiondetroit.com. Preview today at Do Michelle's Gallery across from the Renaissance Center. For details, visit auctiondetroit.com. Do Michelle's, a Detroit tradition since 1927.
At Farm Bureau Insurance, we cover Michigan. We cover everywhere from M57 to M43, M22, and every other route. We cover from paradise to hell, Christmas to Kalamazoo. We cover up north. And yep, we know exactly where that is. From sandbars to sand dunes, cider mills to skiing hills, and farm towns to downtowns. We insure auto, home, business, life. And yep, you guessed it, farm. We cover trip and falls to falling limbs, big bucks and large trucks. From small startups to big business, and from cream to corn. Yep, we insure it all. We cover new arrivals, homecomings, and farewells. We're there for good times, hard times, and past times. Yep, we cover Michigan because we're Michigan's insurance company. Find your coverage anywhere in Michigan at farmbureauinsurance.com.
This is a special post-State of the State Address edition of Paul W. Smith on News Talk 760 WJR. This morning, Paul is sponsored by UHY Certified Public Accountants and Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan. Now with conversation and analysis of last night's address by Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Here's Paul.
And we're looking forward to the governor being here with us at about 8:18 or so on this Thursday, 28th day of 2021. There are 337 days left in the year. Make each and every day count. Each day is a gift. And we'll have that opportunity to speak with the governor. In fact, some of the questions have come in since people are still following us on WJR's Facebook page as well as WJR.com. I see some of their questions. Rebecca is a teacher who says, based on the thing that the governor said last night, and I'll ask the governor if this, the $500 only goes to teachers who applied for hazard pay. Many of us did not. And I don't know what that means for those teachers, if there's any recourse or not. Marie, you know a lot of stuff that I don't have any idea about. You follow all this stuff. Do you know if there's any recourse for teachers who did not?
I have not read that there's any recourse for the teachers who did not fill that out. I would assume that they could consult their schools, the principals within their schools, or their unions. I don't know what would happen if they didn't apply. That's, that is an issue. I thought of it as we were putting the story together and realizing that they had to apply. Whenever someone has to apply for something, there's going to be a group of people who either miss it entirely or miss the deadline.
There are deadlines, and then that deadline has come and gone. And if you're sitting there watching the speech last night, you realize that you may have cut yourself out of a well-earned $500 that your other fellow teachers did get.
Yep.
I have, this is going to shock you, but I have missed a deadline or two in my life.
No.
Yeah.
I refuse. I just cannot believe that. You're on top of almost everything.
Hard to imagine. Yeah, I'm on top of a lot, but generally what affects me and is good for me, somehow I miss. It seem like today is the anniversary from 1985. The charity supergroup USA for Africa recorded the Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie song, "We Are the World." That was recorded today at the A&M Studios in Los Angeles back in 1985. It's kind of like we need another anthem like that. Or have we grown beyond that and we don't do that sort of thing anymore? I don't know what the right answer is there.
Do you remember the sensation that We Are the World caused?
Yeah.
I was working at a music station, and that was on like heavy rotation. Every 5 minutes it was playing. And it was just a sensation. That's not I don't know that we've grown past that.
Well, what was it that happened for the pandemic? And some people put together on Zoom this song, and it was all these celebrities singing this stuff, and they were killed. They were destroyed for doing that.
They were? I don't recall this story. So
yeah, it was Gal, the Israeli actor, Gal, whatever her name is, that played Wonder Woman. It started with her, and then it went from one celebrity to another, singing some sort of a unifying, they thought, song, and they were roundly lambasted for it. Maybe our listeners know what I'm talking about better than I do, and will be able to weigh in on that. But at the moment, I don't know.
We live in a more cynical world, that's for sure, thanks to social media, right? Everybody just wants to judge, and attack, it seems like.
It's sad, but it does seem like that it's a much tougher crowd, I guess is the way we'd put it. If you're a comedian,
you're
dying on stage and you go, oh boy, tough crowd. It's a tough crowd. And Gal Gadot, thank you, Kim, for the last name. Gal Gadot found that out with whatever it was they were doing. And it wasn't that long ago. And it seems to me it was regarding the pandemic. And they were thought to be insipid, and they were just criticized tremendously. Obviously, in 1985, people welcomed "We Are the World" with certainly open arms. I remember that. That was powerful. It was indeed. It is 8:13. The governor is coming up in about 5 minutes. Governor Gretchen Whitmer, after her State of the State address. Stay with us on WJR.
This report is sponsored by ExpressPros.com. Looking for an easier way to find your next call center or accounting job? It's time to get to know Express Employment Professionals. Visit ExpressPros.com to find one of more than 830 locations to support any job search. And there's never a fee.
It's our WJR Traffic and Weather First, and Dana Clark.
Accident along M14 eastbound. Northbound is clear. New collision. North.
I don't know if that's you cutting her out or she's cutting out. You must have brought it down.
Can you right 2 lanes traffic?
I don't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can. Now I can.
Okay. I just texted you a story that I wanted you to look at. The governor is reacting this morning. This is from the Free Press, Paul Egan. The governor is reacting this morning to the GOP decision to hold back funds. And you could just use it on your phone. I don't think you need to go print it, but it is something to talk to her about. Apparently, it looks like she had a press conference already this morning.
Oh, geez.
And made some of these comments.
I was monitoring, and I never saw it carried.
No, I didn't see it either. She calls the Republican threats to withhold school funding over disagreements about her response to the coronavirus pandemic, quote, cruel and reckless. So that would be something.
Wish I would have known that when I was talking to Mike.
Yeah, I just found it. What time did it come in? It was published at 8:11, so it was just published 4 minutes ago. So that would explain that, but maybe ask her about that.
Sure.
Okay. And then I'll leave you be, headed back.
I look at these, the Republicans as, he talked about the gesture about declining her appointees and all of that. And he admits it was political. It was purposeful political gesture. They remind me of, I don't mean to put them down. I'm not saying that little kids, but they remind me of people trying to get someone's attention. I always get the impression that the legislature's trying to get the attention of the governor.
Well, you know how we've been talking about this for the past year about this communication issue, and we've been wondering if the communication isn't the biggest issue. Like, is there some way to better communicate? Get in a room is kind of hard during COVID, but it does seem like that the biggest issue is communication. So maybe that would be another question for her. Like, I think they think better.
I think they think she doesn't feel she needs to communicate with them. So.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. Yeah. But it is something that we on the outside have been observing. We can't be the only ones.
No. Yeah.
097 now to secure your American Eagle silver dollar coins before the current design ceases production. That's 1-800-97.
Let's see.
The note on Victor's roofing.
What's it? No, I didn't see a note. So
you're missing a spot when it'll fit.
He wants you to. The government's there, so let's go to the gov.
UHY certified public accountants and Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan. Once again, Paul W. Smith.
And of course, we couldn't have a morning talking about the governor's State of the State address without the governor of the great state of Michigan. Governor Gretchen Whitmer joins us on the other end of our line right now. Governor, good morning. From all indications, from everyone we've talked to, you did a fine job on the State of the State address. How do you feel? And did you feel that, I don't think you missed anything because it was really very well organized, but is there anything you wish you would have said or anything that you've heard already has been misconstrued or what?
No, Paul W., thank you. I'm glad to be with you. And as always, I think that this year, like everything else, the State of the State had to be different, right? So I just did it from the Capitol office, very few people there to stay safe with COVID. But it's an important thing to recognize this moment, right? What we've been through, it's been hard. Where we're headed in 2021, there's so much opportunity that lies ahead. But I really think that, finding common ground and working together will make our job of clearing these hurdles quicker and easier. And that's what I'm hopeful we can do.
I do end up liking the fact that you tied into it, the fix the damn roads, because obviously everyone's still waiting for that, but we got diverted. We slid off the road because of the pandemic and other things, but now fixing the damn road ahead tour, I thought was very clever.
Well, you know what? I think this last year, the political rhetoric has been so divisive and dangerous. And, at the end of the day, we're all Michiganders first, and we want to make sure our kids can safely get back to school and get our businesses and our people back employed and so we can thrive. And also make sure that we get this pandemic under control. It's all linked together. And if we can focus on those things that should not be partisan, we're going to do a lot of good for a lot of people in the state.
You know, you say or said, my mission is to find common ground so we can emerge from this crisis stronger than ever. You know that the other side of the aisle feels that you have not only not needed their input, not accepted their input, almost ignored. You've almost ignored them, I think they feel. I think of them as, and I don't mean they're kids or children, but I almost think of them as the kids who are trying to get the teacher's attention or even their mother's attention. And so they do certain things like Senator Mike Shirkey, the Republican Senate Majority Leader, just told us minutes ago that when they declined your appointees, when they did something that's not been done before, it was political. It was a purposeful political gesture. It appears, Governor, they're trying to get your attention, and they want to be, because they feel constitutionally they are entitled to be, involved in all these decisions you're making. And you say you want to emerge from this crisis stronger by all of us working together. What has to happen so that we, the people, will see you guys working together?
Well, you know what? Here's one of the things that just kind of baffles me, to be honest. We've been inviting the leadership to our data and modeling calls so that they can really have the opportunity to see what we are learning from the virus, what we're learning from the spread, what we're seeing in terms of the variants, what our concerns are. Talk and listen to the epidemiologists and virologists and public health experts that we've consulted every step of the way. I can invite them to the meetings, but I can't make them show up. And so if they really want to get involved and have a thoughtful understanding about why the decisions have been made that have had to be made, you know, I hope that they will start to participate. But, you know, I think crossing our arms and holding grudges is dangerous and reckless. Turning down all those appointees without having a single hearing. We're talking about the children's ombudsman, the person that investigates when there's a death of a child in Michigan. We need to get these things done. We need to get this supplemental done. Congress has given us billions of dollars to help struggling businesses, unemployed people, get our kids back in school, and fund our vaccine administration. We need the legislature to take action on that. And they can't just dig in and not do it because lives are on the line here. And that's what I hope they will shift their focus to, because that's where we can be productive. That's where I hope we can find common ground, and our economy depends on it.
You earlier this morning even talked about the Republican threats to withhold the school funding over disagreements about your response to the coronavirus pandemic, quote, cruel and reckless, and said the legislature continues to complain about her exercise of powers that were in fact granted to the executive branch by the legislature. It doesn't, I mean, last night looked great. You looked great. You smiled the whole time. You presented the information very well. It was a very well done state of the state. The details, the devil in the details, come up with the budget, your next speech on the budget. But the reality is, you always say these things about everybody working together and getting along, and then it appears that doesn't happen. And somebody said earlier that we were talking with about this, it takes two to tango, and that it just appears that you just don't like, for example, Senator Mike Shirkey, the Senate Majority Leader. Did the two of you get along in the past?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, he was a big proponent of Healthy Michigan. I appreciate the work. I've always acknowledged his humanity, even when he calls me names. I try to make light of it. I even send him a cake after that, you know, and he's shared a stage with people that are now being prosecuted for planning to kidnap and kill me. I don't even hold a grudge about that, Paul. I got work to do. I'm the governor of this state. Our numbers show that what we're doing is working. We are now 46th in terms of number of positive cases, 46th in the nation. That is a great place to be. We are 6th in the nation when it comes to distributing vaccines. So our numbers are stronger than just about every other state on both those fronts. And I think, you know, we've got to put these grudges aside and keep moving forward and stay focused on our economy, getting our kids in school, and you know, ending this virus once and for all.
You know, we have a teacher that weighed in here just a little bit ago, and I can only imagine and feel her pain. She said that resource for teachers, that $500 is fabulous, but it's only for those who basically signed up for hazardous duty pay, and the deadline is come and gone. I don't have an answer for that teacher. What do you tell teachers who somehow, some reasons, whatever, did not sign up for the hazardous duty pay, and then therefore there's no way for them to get that $500?
Oh, I'll take a look at it. I'm not sure that that's the case, but our intent is, of course, to show our support to everyone that continued throughout this pandemic to do their jobs to support our kids, and so I think that's the intent, and I want to see that through. And so if there's a change or something that needs to be made, I'll look to do that.
All right. I unfortunately, in the midst of all of these questions coming in, I cannot find. Oh, here it is. Rebecca, teacher Rebecca. The $500 only goes to teachers who applied for hazardous pay. Many of us did not. And your answer, Governor, is you're going to look into that. So there might be some hope for those teachers who did not.
Yeah, our intent is to show our support for every educator and staff in our schools that showed up, stayed on the front lines throughout this pandemic. So we're so grateful for the work that they do, and they need not just a thank you, but also a show of gratitude.
All right, and that money is part of the money from last summer. That it's much of it is federal money and all of that. So the idea of worrying about where all that money is going to come from, the money's already there.
That's right. We wanted to make sure that we get it to the people on the front line. That's why we've done Futures for Frontliners. That's why I'm pushing for a permanent $2 an hour raise for the healthcare workers. I mean, these are tough jobs. We need to, I think, show our support because, man, we couldn't have gotten through this without all of them.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer, what's your reply to our Detroit Public Schools Superintendent, Nikolai Vitti, who says, let's get the kids back on the field of play. We want them to resume sports. What do you say to him?
One of the things I love about hard-charging leaders is that they're impatient. I am too. I want to re-engage everything all at once. But of course, our public health experts and virologists would tell us the reason we've been so successful is because we've really taken a data-driven approach and been incremental in our re-engagement. Getting our kids in class is top priority. Getting sports re-engaged is up there as well, but top priority is getting them in school, making sure our numbers don't take a big jump, and then we'll take that next step.
You know, I'm not arguing with you about restaurants being closed. I wish that they could have stayed open. I wish our kids could have gone to school. You and I have children that have been affected by this in not getting their senior year in high school or whatever it is, their first year in college. It's been horrible for the kids. There's been a tremendous toll on the kids. But amazingly, it seems that at the time when we look like we're going to be letting them go back to school, urging them to go back to school, opening the restaurants February 1st and all of that, we're getting more bad news. It almost looks like worse news than we had when we closed the restaurants and when we kept the kids out of school. How do we balance this out with this new variant that everybody's so worried about?
Well, the variants, it's concerning, to be sure. What we do know, though, is that there have been schools that have stayed in person and have done so successfully because they have adhered to the protocols that we know work. So if our kids and educators and staff are universally masked, if we make provisions so that they can be socially distanced, if we can keep them in pods to the greatest extent possible, these are all ways that we can re-engage safely and successfully. The CDC has revised their guidelines after watching what's happened in these in-person scenarios, and this can be done. The variant is, well, I said, it's dangerous. It's incredibly contagious. One of the variants is even more deadly. But the fact of the matter is, masking up works. So we just can't let our guard down. We just got to redouble our efforts in that regard.
Well, I've been a big mask advocate from back in March when Anthony Fauci was saying, oh, no, I don't think people need to walk around with a mask, which was wrong. But be that as it may, under the woulda, coulda, shoulda file, Governor, should we have said the schools can stay open, the restaurants can stay open if they follow those protocols that you laid out, where you've just said people have done that successfully.
But honestly, Paul, you always got to look at community spread. And if there's a high prevalence of COVID in the community, shutting down was the only thing that you can do to get your arms around it, and then to trace and test. We didn't have those abilities early on. We do now. So let's all double down on these protocols so that we can do these things safely.
Anything, last thought, because you've stayed longer than we thought you could, and I really appreciate that, Governor. And you did do a good job with that State of the State last night. And I do hope that this marks the beginning of where both sides will reach out and work together. People want the legislators that they voted for, they want them to have an impact on what happens in the state, which means they want them to work with you and you to work with them. That aside, last thought here. Is there anything else you want to add to the Robert Gordon resignation? I've never seen a story run wild, more wild than this one, because of the headline that says Whitmer mum on Gordon's resignation. Governor thanks former health department boss for. I mean, you've seen these headlines. Because the imagination runs amok with what really happened. Is there anything that you can offer to put a rest to those kinds of the rampant rumors?
Yeah, there's not. I mean, the non-story, I think, is what's driving people crazy. We've been through a grueling 2 years. Robert Gordon worked incredibly hard at the department. We are grateful for that work, but, he's moving on, and we are fortunate someone like Elizabeth Hertel is able to take us into this next phase of our COVID response. And, I wish Robert well, and that's the whole story.
All right. And I misspoke when I said we have children in the same boat, but you and I have talked before about Sophie, who's missing out on a senior year in high school, but also Natalie, who, like your daughter, is at University of Michigan, and Natalie is missing out on her senior year at Michigan. And now they've just put out another one of those calls where they're telling the students to stay home, don't even go out anywhere in Ann Arbor. So, I mean, it's a bizarre time when things are actually worse again, when we're talking about the kids going back to school or doing sports or anything else. University of Michigan issues another stay-at-home recommendation due to COVID-19 and the variant.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly why, doubling down on these protocols and getting this supplemental done so we can have the resources to continue our vaccination efforts is so, so important.
Governor, thank you very much. We appreciate it, as always.
Thank you, Paul W. Be well.
You be well as well. Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who reminds us that the protocol is still very important. Wearing the mask, 2 masks, I've been saying for a while, 2 masks if you can't get the good ones, and washing your hands often, and social distancing. It's still out there, still a problem. Whether you have the shot or don't have the shot, you're going to have to still do that. 8:33 at WJR.
This report is sponsored by ExpressPros.com. Looking for an easier way to find your next call center or accounting job? It's time to get to know Express Employment Professionals. Visit ExpressPros.com to find one of more than 830 locations to support any job search. And there's never a fee.
Let's check it. Our WJR Traffic and Weather first, Dana Clark.
275 northbound, add to Ford Road. A wreck is blocking your right 2 lanes. Slow from Michigan Avenue. 94 westbound between M59 and North River Road. Accident blocks the right lane. Seeing brake lights from 21 Mile. Now, WJR Weather first from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Shelving.com. Shelving.com has durable storage products for your business, from trusted Metro brand wire and plastic shelving to Unirack pallet racking. They also offer high-density storage and gravity flow racks to help optimize space. Order now at Shelving.com. That's Shelving.com. We rack your world. Cold today, hitting a high of only 23. Tonight's low 13. Currently 16 degrees. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News, on the way with Marie Osborne.
This report is sponsored by Michelin Endurance Silicone Wiper Blades. Weather can be unpredictable. Be prepared with windshield wipers that can handle anything. Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades are real-world proven for extreme weather performance, lasting 2 times longer. Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades, only available at Walmart.
Governor Whitmer calling for a permanent extension to unemployment benefits.
Distributing vaccines, getting our kids back on track, and supporting small businesses to jumpstart our economy. My plan includes a call on the legislature to permanently extend unemployment benefits from 20 weeks to 26. This would bring Michigan in line with 40 other states.
In her third State of the State address, Whitmer acknowledged the battle against the virus continues with an eye on stepping up vaccine distribution. Senate Republican leader Mike Shirkey says he thought the governor's speech laid out the state's issues, but he says the governor has not laid out a plan on how the governor and the legislature can work together.
But what we have to do now is talk to each other so that we can resolve how to address that problem or how to exploit that opportunity. And that conversation has not been very effective and very efficient in the last 10 to 12 months. There are things that she mentioned last night that I believe we can agree on the problem, the definition of the problem, and then we can talk about differences of opinion and how to solve the problem. And that's a great place to start.
Shirkey speaking to Paul W. Smith just moments ago. The state reporting 1,681 new cases of the coronavirus and 6 new deaths. The University of Michigan is telling students living on or near the Ann Arbor campus to stay at their addresses, not gather now through February 7th. The stay-in-place directive is to curtail the spread of a new variant that officials say is more contagious. Studies show more children are going to the hospital to be treated for severe COVID-19 symptoms, and others aren't able to access mental health services they'd normally receive at school. While children are less susceptible to illness with the new coronavirus, they are nearly 60% more likely than adults over 60 to infect other family members when they are sick, a new study is showing. A settlement announced Wednesday between Fiat Chrysler and the federal government resolving a bribery and collusion investigation involving the United Auto Workers. Jeff Manasso reports.
I'm pleased to announce that FCA has agreed to accept responsibility for its conduct.
U.S. Attorney Matthew Schneider, after Fiat Chrysler agrees to pay $30 million in fines over bribes and millions of dollars in payoffs from 2009 to 2016 to senior officials at the United Auto Workers Union.
In the forms of extravagant meals, rounds of golf, lavish parties for the UAW International Board, designer shoes, and clothing.
The federal investigation has led to the convictions of 15 FCA and UAW officials. The UAW also recently agreed to have an independent monitor oversee its operations. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Oscar-winning actress Cloris Leachman has died at the age of 94. She spent nearly 8 decades performing. She started her career in radio. She won an Academy Award in 1971 for her role in The Last Picture Show, a drama set in North Texas. She also had some strong character parts and good comedic timing. She did 3 movies under the director Mel Brooks: Young Frankenstein, High Anxiety, and History of the World, Part 1. Checking the world markets this morning. China and Nikkei are down. London is down. The Dow futures are up. For WJR News, I'm Marie Osborne. We'll have more with Paul W. in just a moment.
With the recent shift in administration in Washington, there are many reports about estate tax laws that are likely to change. When it comes to estate and gift planning, the conceivable changes could be far-reaching. It is critical that high net worth individuals, particularly those with business assets, understand the proposed estate changes in the new administration's tax plan. UHY has created an easy-to-follow likelihood assessment of what could be passed in 2021. Contact any of UHY's Michigan offices to get a copy. There are options you may want to exercise now that could very well be gone soon. Reach out to your trusted UHY advisor to start the process. Their commitment is to minimize taxes and preserve family wealth. To learn more, email greatlakes@uhy-us.com. Again, that's greatlakes@uhy-us.com to protect your estate for the next generation. UHY Certified Public Accountants, the next level of service.
Welcome back to more post-State of the State address coverage with Paul W. Smith on WJR. Sponsored by UHY Certified Public Accountants and Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan. Once again, Paul W. Smith.
Thanks to Teresa Vicari-Ahe telling us about the Gal Gadot song that I couldn't remember. It was Imagine, John Lennon's Imagine, and they were all bashed for singing from their beautiful vacation homes when they thought they were doing a kind of a We Are the World thing. I just didn't remember the whole rest of the story. Meanwhile, we've got some folks calling in, and it is a good point here. They come in fast. From Sandy, my question is, where's the $500 reward to the parents that are working 8 to 12 hours a day, come home to children that are doing online learning only? These parents are taking over the teacher's job. Yes, for the success of their child, but no credit given. And let me say that some of these after-hour teachers are your nurses and medical staff that have put in 12-hour shifts. Yeah, so that there's, you start doling out money to some, the rest that aren't getting it and can justify why they should also get money. It's a mess. That is for sure. Through all of this, we understand that this virus, which we haven't talked too much about, and the variant of the virus, which is, as we've been talking about, closed down Ann Arbor again for the students. And by the way, younger and younger people are being affected by this, something that we've been told wouldn't be happening. Dr. Michael J. Stephen is an associate professor at Thomas Jefferson University in Philadelphia, my old stomping grounds, and director of the Adult Cystic Fibrosis Center. He's a leader of numerous clinical trials and has been on the front line caring for COVID-19 patients. In fact, as I understand it, Doctor, welcome to the Paul W. Smith Show. Doctor, you recovered from the virus yourself.
That's right, Paul. I got knocked down very hard after taking care of patients in the ICU in April and May. I got knocked down very hard, 2 weeks at home with fevers, body aches, brain fog, ended up in the hospital with pneumonia and blood clots. But we got the best hospitals in the world here in America. We got the best nurses, the best doctors. They got me through it, and I'm one of the fortunate ones to get back to 100%. I had a lot of guilt. I passed it along to my 2 young children and my wife. But fortunately, we can talk about a happy ending right now. But it was certainly touch and go for a little while.
Well, and frankly, it all comes down to our lungs and some concern about the long-term. You've gotten through COVID, but you yourself know that there could be some long-term issues with your lungs. You've actually written the book, Breathtaking, The Power, Fragility, and Future of Our Extraordinary Lungs. And it's just been the last few years that I think that we've really paid attention to the reality that we have people getting lung cancer who never smoked. And that always struck us as being very odd. Well, wait a minute, they never smoked. How'd they get lung cancer? But you've pointed out that that's a problem, and that more people are dying from lung cancer than all the 2 or 3 other cancers combined.
Yes, it's been an ignored disease. What's happening with our breath and the interaction of our breath with our lung has been ignored, and I do a big deep dive about this interaction in my book. Lung cancer is a problem. COVID is just the tip of the iceberg. It's just a symptom of a bigger disease that we haven't taken threats to our breath seriously enough. And I outline in my book why this has happened, the importance of the breath, and where we need to go from here.
And what we've learned about COVID-19, all variants, is that it's so contagious and it's spread because of the droplets in the air that we expel or people around us expel that goes into our lungs. And it seems that once it gets into our lungs, we're in trouble.
There's no question about it. There's two big things that are a problem with COVID. The inflammation and pneumonia in our lungs, which is very hard to treat. People often don't recognize it's there. And then it's also an autoimmune disease. We've learned this in the last 8 months, and I talk about this a lot in my book, that it does very strange to our vessels, causes inflammation in our vessels, gives us strokes, gives us kidney failure. So I've learned a lot about it, but there's going to be a tremendous amount more that we need to learn, especially as it mutates, how it spreads, what it does to us, the treatments. Are the vaccines that we have now going to be effective in a year? There's just huge questions about this. I talk about it in my book, but so much unknown, and we have to take care of each other and the COVID crisis, and we're going to get there because we have great people in this country.
I know you have to go, but radon is such an important thing for people that they can check, and they should, because it's also a big, big problem in our homes today. The book is breathtaking. The Power, Fragility, and Future of Our Extraordinary Lungs by our guest, Dr. Michael J. Stephen. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Paul. It's been a pleasure.
All right, 8:45 at WJR.
This report is sponsored by Merrill. When questions find you, Merrill Edge Self-Directed Investing has personalized tools and insights to help you find answers. Get started at merrilledge.com/withinreach. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner, and Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, member SIPC.
Let's check it. Our WJR traffic and weather first, and Dana Clark.
Accident along 94 westbound between M59 and North River Road. That incident is clear, delayed from at least 275 northbound at Ford Road. Accident blocking your right 2 lanes, traffic getting by in that left lane only, delayed from Michigan Avenue. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Shelving.com. Shelving, durable product business from Metro Fire, and they also offer high density storage and gravity flow racks to help.
I can't hear you, Ann. You're on mute.
FanDuel out of weather, and then there will be another live. That
I got a Victor's.
He wants FanDuel next here.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I have one Victor's left.
Yep. He knows that. He's just he's texting.
That mute is annoying.
It's hard, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's like just walking around the studio with your mic open at all times.
I know.
Which is you can't do.
I know. It worked out okay.
Did I introduce her with her traffic? I did, didn't I? Yeah. Okay, good. 8:47 at News Talk 760 WJR. Well, I can't tell you how many times I've been watching sports and wanted to bet the game on my phone. Guess what? Now you can bet the game on your phone because FanDuel Sportsbook is officially live in Michigan. And to celebrate, they're kicking things off in a really big way. FanDuel is giving new users their first bet risk-free. That's right. You'll get up to $1,000 back in site credit if you don't win. Seriously. So not only can you bet on all your favorite teams, but you'll get up to $1,000 back if you don't win your first bet. You know, that's just one of the reasons why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook app. FanDuel Sportsbook is giving you the chance to get an even bigger win when you bet the Lakers versus Pistons game today. For every 313 fans who bet on the Pistons to cover the spread, FanDuel Sportsbook will move the line 1 point in the Pistons' favor. There's no limit on how good this line can get. As long as enough fans keep betting, the line will keep on moving. And best of all, they're going to pay you. The payout will be whatever the line lands on at tip-off. So you don't have to wait to get in on the action. And this is how to play it now. If you haven't yet signed up for FanDuel Sportsbook in Michigan, don't stay on the sidelines. Deposit and place your risk-free bet up to $1,000. Your first bet is risk-free. After you place your risk-free bet, then go bet on the spread, the love market, and place a bet up, max $50 on Pistons versus Lakers. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can do it. Once you win on FanDuel Sportsbook, they get your winnings in as little as 24 hours to you because, well, it's the right thing to do. So here's what you need to do. This is simple. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and be sure to sign up with the promo code PAUL. What a great promo code, Paul. they'll know then that I sent you, and that'll be fabulous. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code Paul.
21 and older and present in Michigan. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help.
At Farm Bureau Insurance,
So he says that we have the one more, the victors, and it looks like he wants it at the end of the break, but I'm not entirely clear. How will we know what the end of the break is?
I don't know, but I don't know what he means by you have to stay with me because we'll have to do victors. I don't know.
Maybe it would be smarter. How is he going to tell us the end of the break? That's my question for him.
If he could just write on this private chat what the last commercial is.
Yeah, Brian, tell us what the last spot is, please. And then Paul, or the out cue to the last spot. The end of the break is an Oxford Gold spot. I'll put the station back in before that. Okay, well, I can put the station back in now so Paul can listen.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Is Frank standing by? Will Frank be on?
Frank is on
StreamYard or not?
I believe so. I believe he is. Frank is Frank is not on StreamYard. He's on Access, one of his Access lines. But yes, he'll be there for you.
Curtis, Paul, again, thank you for being here early and staying with us all morning long.
Yep.
Glad to do it.
And we like your graphics. They're very nice, Curtis.
Yeah, the graphics help a
Beautiful.
lot.
Actually, they're from Sean. Sean made the logo this time.
Beautiful. Good
Thank
job.
you, Sean. Thank you to the whole, what do we call you? The IT
Digital team.
The digital team. All right.
So I understand that Frank is on StreamYard, but he's on a different channel. And I'm popping over to help him next.
Oh, okay. But he's not coming to us on StreamYard. Maybe that's what Brian means.
Yeah, he's got his own StreamYard scheduled.
I got
Because if we keep changing them to different, okay. Well, it's good that we're able to stay on one for the whole morning. I can't even imagine hanging up, redialing, re-StreamYarding for each guest would have just
Ooh, that would be.
that would take a grueling, impossible situation and make it
Even
more grueling and more impossible. But I know our listeners like it when they can
They do.
be in here with us, and so we're happy to be able to do that.
It's just all, it's like learning a totally new, like riding a bike, learning to ride it for the first time. It's just totally new, all different.
Yeah.
A lot of followers on here this morning, though.
Yeah, they're participating. Some are happy, some are not happy. You never can please everybody when you interview the governor.
Oh, no. You're right. All right. I'm going to better get this back on here for you so I don't.
Okay.
Medicare planning, the second largest expense in retirement. Principium's team is nationally recognized and doesn't play favorites. Income planning, Chris Alberta practically wrote the book on creating guaranteed minimum income accounts. How about fee-based money management? Principium's team is cutting edge and in constant communication with their clients. 401k rollovers, tax efficiency, legacy planning, IRA management, you name it. Chris even has an in-house estate planning attorney for his clients to use at no cost. The time has come, folks. There's too much uncertainty out there to simply roll the dice and hope things work out. Hope is not a strategy. While some advisors push high commission annuities and even more simply convince you that the market will continue its record run, we both know that you need a solution that both limits the risk and keeps the door open for future gains. Principium is your ticket. It's time for those conservative folks who actually conserve. Stop the endless fees. Stop the unnecessary risk. Stop the anxiety. Start retiring the Frank Beckman way. Less risk, more reward, real relationships. Call the Principium team at 888-800-8949 or visit retirelikefrank.com. 888-800-8949 or retirelikefrank.com.
Help solve food insecurity in Michigan. Hear thought leaders from across the state on Food First Michigan with Dr. Phil Knight and Jerry Brisson. Sunday nights at 9 on WJR, presented by Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan and the Food Bank Council of Michigan.
Have you seen what's happening with the stock market? Record highs every day. How long can this possibly go on for? By the way, this is exactly what happened right before the 2000.com bubbles burst. Remember that? Protect your savings in retirement by putting them into something safe like real gold and silver. I'm not talking about gold or silver stocks, but into real gold and silver you can actually hold in your hands. How do you get real gold and silver? By calling the Oxford Gold Group today at 833-600-GOLD. Now, the Oxford Gold Group will teach you everything you need to know about owning real gold and silver. It's so much easier than you think. So call the Oxford Gold Group right now at 833-600-GOLD to get your free gold and silver investment guide. The Oxford Gold Group is the only gold and silver company that I trust, and you should too. Get the Oxford Gold Investment Guide today and learn how easy it is to have real gold and silver delivered to your home, or how to have real gold and silver in your retirement account. Call the Oxford Gold Group today at 833-600-GOLD. That's 833-600-GOLD.
All righty. As a homeowner, the name of the game is maintenance. There's no question about that. The roof over your head, of course, no exception. It's not a get it and forget it kind of thing. You have to make sure it's sound year in and year out. It's very important to take care of little problems before they become big problems. Let's face it, Detroit winters are hard on our roofs. That's why Victor's Roofing is offering a free 21-point roof inspection. Victor's will give you a full video report of what they find and if there are any issues. They'll come up with a customized plan to get it taken care of. I've had a couple of roofs done by Victor's, and I can certainly vouch for their workmanship, the way they treat you as a customer during the process. They always provided great communication, prompt follow-up, and they show up when they say they will. It sounds ridiculous that that's one of the pluses, but it's a huge plus, and you know what I mean if you're a homeowner and you've tried to get work done. But don't take my word for it. Check in with these various Google, Angie's List, and Yelp sites. I'm told they have more 5-star reviews than any other roofer in Michigan. You are going to find cheaper roofing contractors out there, certainly, but you won't find a better one than Victor's Roofing. Schedule your free 21-point video inspection today at 734-6666-914, 734-6666-914, or you can set your appointment up at victorsroofing.com, victorsroofing.com. All righty. Very good.
You're hearing the Paul W. Smith Show. News Talk 760 WJR.
I was so excited. I thought I was going to be able to see Frank. You will be able to see him in a few minutes when they switch over and he continues with his show following the news minutes from now. And Frank, I know you're going to continue to talk in further detail and greater depth with your time on the Governor's State of the State address. What did you think about it?
I thought it was pretty predictable, actually, and I thought she was measured in what she had to say. I'm not like the Free Press, which headlines "Whitmer ignores GOP provocations, stays the course in third State of the State address." I won't go that far. But we'll cover it in some detail, get a lot of reaction from both sides of the aisle, of course. And we'll be doing it on StreamYard, Paul. So it's going to be live and in living color this morning.
Absolutely right. It'll come to our listeners right here through our WJR Facebook or WJR.com. And we appreciate that. Stand by for news and Frank's show. You go on, I'll make it a great one. Regards, Paul W. Smith.